Hello, welcome to the Computer Game Show. Much as I might wish I was, I'm not David Turners. I'm Sean Bell, and I'm joined by Matt Murray.
Hello.
And James Farley.
Hello.
Dave's kid's poorly, and it sounds like it's actually quite rough. Apparently, he just keeps screaming occasionally. I don't know if that's actually an illness or he's just fed up. He's just had enough.
Who's screaming, David or?
No, apparently Charlie is. He said Charlie just keeps shouting his head off, and I don't know if that's related to him being poorly or not.
I think it's the European Super League.
It could be. Well, that's all done and dusted now, mate.
It's all mention.
Over.
He'll be all right by now. He's probably all right now. He's probably fine.
Yeah, it's probably calmed down. Yeah. Right, we should start the show as we always do by thanking the people who, if I ever need someone putting through a window, I know who to call, because we've got the Patreon producers, haven't we?
Yes, that'd be great. If that's what they do as well, that's great.
Yeah, well, it just, it's never come up. I know that if that was something I needed doing, these are the people I would call. Aaron Patrick, Simon.
Sorry to interrupt. If I need to put someone for a window, I wouldn't be calling Moomin Biscuit.
Would you not?
Why not?
No, Moomin Biscuit does not seem the kind of person to put people through windows.
I think Gazman could, though.
It's not about ability. It's just they're obviously just very dedicated, and we appreciate their support.
No, of course. No, thank you ever so much.
Aaron Patrick, Simon Nelson, Tom S, Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Richard Sawyer, Dave Ernsberger, Cullen Brown, Gasman, Gabby Pereira, and Graham McKay. I mean, I won't ask you to put anyone through a window, but if I ever did, do you know what I mean?
We also wouldn't dare to dream of asking if any of the Full Nose members have experience in putting people through windows.
If you have, let us know.
Well, let us know. Don't let us know. Just
not even any experience. Just if you, you don't need to have experience. Just if you think you could, if you're feeling confident, we'll put you on a short list. If you want to become a Patreon producer or support us at one of the various other tiers, you can head to patreon.com/TCGS. There's all different tiers where we do bonus shows and live video stuff. And although we haven't done this month yet, have we? We should probably...
No, we absolutely need to do that.
Should probably sort that out. But yeah, sign up now. And then there'll be a thing you can get involved with probably this weekend. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right.
Almost certainly definitely this weekend, yeah.
Yeah, look, always suppose it has to be, doesn't it? Or else we've failed in our obligations.
No, and we wouldn't do it. We wouldn't dare doing that.
It'll be fine. Any feedback, Matt, from last week?
There's loads. Colander_Adam, which has to be Capone Adam. I'm continuing to really enjoy the weekly Friday stream of It Takes Two, but I'm worried that the penalty of downing a beer when losing a minigame makes for a less engaging second half stream. I kind of agree with you there. James was constantly looking at his phone during cutscenes as if he was at our Life is Strange presentation.
Was I really doing that? Because I don't remember that.
I mean, you're looking down a lot. I wasn't sure what I was down there.
I think I was just, by that stage, I don't think I was looking at my phone. I think I was just contemplating life at that stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whilst dashing off to the toilet every 20 minutes while poor Matt has to improvise on the spot. Not that Matt is innocent either. During the incredible Moon Balloon boss battle, he was going on about HBO television show The Wire and explaining in great detail about a new reality TV prison show he's watching. Anyway, my question is... it's a feedback question. My question is, during this stream, James was eyeing up the last slice of his child's birthday cake. After the stream, did he scoff it in a drunken haze?
Actually, I didn't. I didn't
whatever.
eat it. No, I really didn't. This time I didn't do it. I looked at it and I just thought, I can't do that.
Did you not say, look, there's actually two smaller slices from this one. And
just shave a bit off the side.
We both got one slice. That's it. You got one slice, I got one slice. That's equal.
No, I didn't do that.
What cake was it?
It's just a chocolate cake that Rachel had made. It was.
She made it. Amazing.
Yeah.
Cool.
God, she's very good at making cakes.
Rachel's an amazing cook and an artist. It's
the two things. It's two things she's good at, and it's nice.
Oh, is that all?
Well, yeah, she's good at other things. Well, no, she's genuinely good at those things, and it's like, I hate talking about it because it's like, I don't know, I just never like doing that. But it's I think she's pretty good at some of that stuff.
Yeah, amazing.
You should be proud, man. I'll be buzzing when Isaac starts cooking stuff. If
she makes very good brownies, it's they're excellent.
There you go.
That sounds dangerous.
Matt, what's the prison show you're watching?
We've stopped watching now, but it was 60 Days In.
Yes, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
I've
only seen the first series, but I'm a fan.
So I've seen me and Jill seen seasons 1 and 2, 3 and 4 on Netflix. But when we got Apple TV to watch WandaVision, seasons 5 and 6 are on there in like this monthly subscription called like I don't know, Crime and Punishment or whatever, and it's like loads of crime and police dramas and stuff, and it's on there. And Jill's obsessed with it. I mean, I wanted to watch other programs, but she's like, no, we've got to watch it for the end. Anyway, so I was explaining that. And
it's a good show,
and The Wire, which is very similar in terms of quality. I mean, James, do you think we need to change the penalty for losing a mini game? Because I only say that because you lost like four. You lost four on Friday, and it went downhill pretty quick.
Yeah, but it was fun. I didn't mind too much, actually. I was quite enjoying having a little drink. I mean, I don't feel terribly bad about missing the cutscenes because from what I've heard, the story's not great with this anyway. And just playing the game has been the fun bit, really. So I think it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine for me because I've only lost one, and I'm actually quite upset about the one I did lose. But yeah, you need to.
Well, the trouble is it gets worse than it because the trouble is you have one, and then you lose the second one, and then after that you're guaranteed you're going to keep losing them because your coordination is not what it should be, and it gets worse.
It is dangerous, but you just have to be better, James. Brenda Blender has messaged us. Good evening, guys. I've been going to message for ages, but I've never seemed to get round to doing it, or never seemed to get time to do it. I've listened for the last year or so. I think I started when Dave was away and only referenced like Voldemort. Since then, I've had great fun listening to the four of you bantering on about the occasional video game. I do occasionally feel sorry for James and the abuse he gets, but then he says something ridiculous and it's all okay again. Sean play Valheim, Loop Hero, and Dorfromantic. Have you played that?
I have, yeah. I talked about it the other week.
I was going to say you did, yeah. Well, maybe this is someone who, maybe they've also just like they messaged us from a few weeks ago and they're still catching up. Who knows?
That's true. This is just in the clipboard for the last month.
Yeah,
and they finally just finally sent it in.
Thanks for keeping it going. Thanks for keeping it going. I think that's a new end to the show, isn't it? Thanks for keeping it going. I give you my Prime Gaming sub every month when I remember.
Oh, amazing. Thank you.
Surah, hello TCGS. Thanks for letting me know about John. I thought the YouTuber guy thing was a bit and he just wanted to leave. A little bit of both.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I slowed down getting through your backlog, but I think it's cute that you guys thought it was in chronological order instead of, oh, this one sounds good today, and then listening to the next one from there to see if there's a check back next week thingy on it. Especially if I know the game you are playing starts good and ends up shit. I mean, if I was going for a backlog of a show, I would probably do it in chronological order, but that's just me. Call me crazy.
I mean, it depends on the show, doesn't it? Because ours is very much like what has happened in any, like on that given week. It's quite timely.
Yeah, well, it is quite timely, but then also you miss one mention of something stupid someone said, and then that carries on for about 6 months plus.
That's true. Yeah, you just got to go from the start.
Yeah.
Have you been back to any of our early ones? Because I think they're probably nowhere near as good as they are now.
I am scared to listen back to any of that stuff. I very rarely listen back to anything we do anyway, but going back to that stuff from earlier, I think would be very scary.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, it's. I have done on occasion. Like, if it's time for us to do Game of the Year, I'll listen to the previous shows, or E3, that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
no, I barely have time to listen to the podcast I want to listen to, let alone going back to take notes on how shit I was back then.
Exactly.
We should do a commentary for episode 1.
We should absolutely do a talks over. Yeah,
actually, that is not a bad idea. Actually, that could be quite funny.
I think so. Yeah. But I've got to say, I've listened to so many. I think I can conclusively say that main guy's evil kid takes after him. Harry probably takes after his mum. If Grumpy One isn't chucking a sickie, this is for him. Your campaign about Like a Dragon is adorable. You have finally noticed that you fight multiple copies of the same enemy in one fight in an RPG. But seriously, if you are worried about homeless enemies, don't. The side stories are pretty good about making a point about homeless people not being some stereotypical dirty criminal. Plus, every enemy is a play on words /job/hobby. Rambling Man has a guitar. Shady Minister is a priest. And Berserker is a trunk. players are drunk, etc.
Yeah, I did notice that recently. Yeah, when I was playing it. Good point.
I hope your forgotten late / maybe special birthday stream went good. Shame I missed it, but I had no Prime sub to give. It ain't a biggie. You could have answered the eggs question so much better if you had played Like a Dragon. So what are the eggs? What's the egg situation, James, in that game?
I don't know. I haven't come across any eggs recently. Just trying to think. But I'm only about 10 hours into it, so I don't know.
Sure, there would have been eggs in the first 10 hours. I mean,
you would think so, wouldn't you? That's not a thing they're going to withhold until hour 15.
Exactly. I mean, they've done research. The data says you need to have egg content in the first 10 hours if you want people to play.
Yeah, if you leave the eggs till hour 15, everyone's going to abandon the game before they see the eggs.
Yeah, exactly. And what's the point?
Only the filthy casuals, do that.
Unbelievable.
I mean, James famously plays everything for 20 hours just in case.
Yeah,
it gets good, as we know.
Yeah.
Ivor Biggin, some feedback on episode 247. Can we stop the joke names, please? I find it a tad silly. Huge erection. That's huge erection. Oh, James, you silly boy. You said Microsoft would have more exclusive games out than the other two this year, probably Bethesda. But the two Bethesda games are PS5 exclusives, Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. Anyway,
yeah, that's not the point. The point is it's there'll be others that are going to come, isn't it? I'm not talking about those ones. There's almost certainly going to be other things they're going to release.
Did you say this year, though?
Yeah, I did say this year, yeah.
That might be pushing it.
You don't think so?
Well, because Deathloop is timed exclusive, right?
Yeah.
It's been delayed, so that won't be on Xbox till next year, surely.
I know, but I'm not talking purely about Bethesda here. I'm saying that Microsoft, with all the studios they've got, will almost certainly, I think, have more games, like first-party, exclusive games out by the end of this year than the other two.
Mm-hmm.
They own, like, everybody. I mean, who don't they own at this stage,
They might own everybody, but as you said, it takes a while to get games out. Unless they just announce E3 and they're all short windows, who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, Returnal's out soon, and neither of you seem bothered?
It's 70 quid and it doesn't look that interesting. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'll wait for reviews. It doesn't really look... It looks fine, but...
it's Housemarque, man. It's probably going to be really good.
I mean, if the reviews say it's excellent, then I'll give it a go. But it does kind of hurt like 70 quid. Or actually, 70 RRP. It'll be that for one digitally. I'm sure I can get it for...
Yeah, almost certainly.
65? If I
exactly. That's the thing. You look at it, you think, I can get it cheaper. Because when it was the launch, I got like quite the other stuff like Sackboy and everything, I didn't pay anything over around 50 quid for all that stuff. But now you look at it and it's like, it is cheaper by about $5 or something. It's like, that's still not good enough. It's, I don't know, disappointing.
Yeah, it's crazy actually. I almost forget that. And I'm like, okay, cool, that game's out. I'm like, 70 quid!
Especially when on the Xbox, you're basically not paying for anything. It's a stark difference, isn't it?
And I'm in my mind, games are still 40 quid. And so even like, before the pandemic, when the shops were open, I was like, okay, games out this week. Wow, 50, 55 quid, that's a lot of money, isn't it? I'm forgetting, actually, that's just what games were. And now they're, and now 70.
So that's the thing, like my top whack, I'd probably say is around 50. Like, I don't really want to pay more than like, the psychological $49.99. Like more than that, it just feels... It feels too much. But,
but you will. That's the thing. Like you say, it's too much. But if a game you want, and even a 10, a 10's out, you're like, okay, fuck it, I will buy it. So that's the thing. Like they will get us, but it's just, I guess, unless the game is absolutely 100% the game you'll love and or has fully banged on reviews, then you're like, it's only an 8. I'll probably give.
Do you think
they say if you love a game, then you should buy it full price on day one?
I've always said that. Yeah.
Oh, that's not.
Well, no, but we will, sure.
Who's next?
Mitch, hey guys, some feedback from last week's birthday show. Didn't manage to catch it live, but still a great show. Anyway, when discussing potential special guests, you mainly mention well-known people. But how about a special guest appearance from a listener, specifically the serial questioner Maria Mendieta? I know that might be quite complicated, so I don't think I've ever heard a podcast down the route of having fans of the show on as guests, but I wondered if you thought this was a completely mental idea. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame because Maria's getting quite a fan base.
Yes, weird. Well, because she's quite elusive. And that's absolutely fine. Compared to most, like, because, obviously a lot of our listeners, we've sort of seen them about on Twitter or the Discord or whatever. Whereas Maria, and this is absolutely fine, by the way, Maria, I'm not saying, like, you need to, like, make yourself, like, make a public appearance or anything. But, like, yeah, like, she emails in every week. But that's our entire correspondence with it. So, in fact, we couldn't message her even if we wanted to.
But I love that. I mean,
but yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, didn't we do with Joypod? Didn't we have a listener like episode where we just got we did like a call-in thing?
I don't think so. I think that was one of those things we did talked about doing, but it never. I know
maybe.
We did. It does ring a bell,
actually.
I mean,
obviously Dave's not here. He would know. But like, do you do a voicemails thing?
Did we do a Skype thing? Like what?
I thought we did a Skype thing.
I'm sure I bought I'm sure I also bought like a SIM card for people to leave like voicemails on. I'm sure that was a thing.
But I mean, it's sad though, isn't it? Because I feel like if we did something like that now, I'd just be too worried about people being shitty with it and using it to give us I mean, to be fair, it's been a while since I've had any actual abuse. But just knowing what the internet's like now.
Oh, you've asked for it now,
I'd just be hovering over the mute button like the constant time.
I mean, I suppose the easy answer to that is it's patrons only, right? That'll weed them out.
Well, it won't, because I'll pay £5 to Corner McConnell on the show. Also something despicable, who knows? But yeah. Danny D. Fat Fryer, just wanted to throw my thoughts in on Disco Elysium on console. Admittedly, I'm playing on PS5, so I'm not sure if it's any better on PS4, but I haven't really come across any bugs. The controller fits really well for me to play, to be honest. There have been a couple of niggles in terms of clicking on things, but nothing really major. I had probably played about 10 hours of the original version on the MacBook Pro and can honestly say that to me, it looks just as good and doesn't run very different here. The new voiceover stuff, though, is really blowing me away. It's phenomenal. Hope this helps. Love the show. I'm a listener from episode 1 all those years ago. Look forward to hearing you guys every week.
Cool. No, that's really nice to hear. There has been another patch. I
was going to say, I saw that they were, a new patch. I haven't read all their previous patches, but the way it's written was kind of like in character or in like keeping with like the kind of vibe. The vibe of like the of a character from that world, but it also very like apologetic, saying it's our fault, But I wasn't sure if they were like breaking character then, or I wasn't quite sure if it's an apologetic character or if it was them saying we're so sorry. It's a bit weird, but
I mean that sounds a lot like the way I played the main character in that game. So that's
yeah.
I ended up getting the sorry cop achievement. So
apologising for everything.
Yeah, no, I think, what we were saying last week, like, obviously they will fix it. It's not like, oh, great, it's come out on consoles and it's bad. It's just a shame that it was like the console release of Disco Elysium was supposed to be like a big event, and just for it to be sort of, oh, it's only on PlayStation at the moment and also there's bugs, was just kind of a shame. But I'm glad people are having a good experience with it anyway.
Yeah, I do definitely want to try it. I'll just wait till it's, fully fixed, and I just want to hear it's a voiceover. I just want to hear more than anything. I just want to hear those voices.
Well, you can just play the PC version, man.
Has that stuff got the voices back in?
Yeah. It's free upgrade for the PC version.
Oh, nice. Okay,
and it's. I mean, I believe the controller controls are in there as well. I've heard people sulking about, but then I suppose if you're at your desk anyway, you might as well use mouse and keyboard, right? But
I think I'd rather do it. I mean, generally though, if I do play a PC game, I do plug the controller in.
Yeah, same.
But that feels like a game that's it's best on mouse and keyboard anyway. Yeah. Colinder, there's more comments about It Takes Two streams. I probably should have bundled them two together, but whatever. I want to thank James and Matt for their reason It Takes Two streams. My girlfriend and I completed the game recently and only endured 2 heated arguments during our time with the game, amongst some minor irritations and under-the-breath mutterings. Watching James and Matt, we have come to realise that while we have our differences, we are so much closer and in sync than we first thought, and have in fact bonded even further as we shout the obvious mechanics of Boys of Misunderstanding, hold our heads in our hands as they sprint past yet another minigame, and ultimately laugh until it hurts as they attempt another sequence for the 14th time. On a serious note, thanks for stream, guys. Watching on YouTube, it's always been a pleasure. Here's to many more hours of confusion, misunderstandings, and a concerning amount of strain on Farley's liver. Thanks. Yeah, but if anyone does watch, right, if you see us missing a minigame, please shout out. We do not want to miss a minigame.
We do need to know about that.
We're like, oh, bloody hell, we missed 2 there. We have to go back and play it on our own time, and so we can,
Heaven forbid.
But yeah, no, we're still very much enjoying them, aren't we, James?
Yeah, they're brilliant. It's such a good game. Yeah.
Yeah, so last one here, TCGS.corrections. On last week's episode, Matt said due to him finishing with Microsoft points and gambling, he needed something new to occupy his time. Well, I mean, that's the sentence, isn't it? This is incorrect, as Super Mario Odyssey is still very much on his plate.
Nice.
Yeah, I do. Well,
sorry, go on.
No, I mean, I don't need to go back because, once again, I just did a backflip on top of the lift. I wasn't hacking the game like people could do when they first played it. But I do want to play it just to get people to stop mentioning it.
I was just going to say, we don't actually know. So obviously, every week we get stuff from TCGS.corrections, but I don't know if that's one person or if it's just a mantle that people take on whenever they want to correct something.
It's a shared account.
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah, I mean, we'll actually search into a proper website and everything with a massive community, probably bigger than us.
I don't really want to know.
No.
It'd be like when we found out who Horse eBooks was, it just sort of ruined it.
Yeah, just kind of ruined the surprise, didn't it? I don't want to read about Horse eBooks anymore. Now I know. No. Now I know what it's about. That is it for feedback. If you want to leave us feedback or tcgs.corrections, go to tcgs.co/deartcgs.
So, James, you know cryptocurrencies, yeah?
I do, yeah.
And, NFT and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's, all this controversy about how they, create loads of, like carbon emissions. Every time there's a transaction, it's like the same as running a washing machine for 60 years or whatever. That's not a real statistic. Don't email in. Basically, when you do the news this week, I want every news item to feel like a massive cryptocurrency transaction. And I am Mother Earth.
Okay, I don't know where to go with that one, Sean. I'm sorry. I've no idea where to go with that one.
Just crack on, mate.
No. I want you to try and deconstruct that with a slightly sexual overtones, as is often the case, James.
I want every news story to leave me feeling physically diminished.
Okay.
I think is what I'm,
let's move on.
Okay, so you want, basically what you want, Sean, is you want every single of these news stories for me to destroy you with them. Is that right?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, let's move.
Piece by piece.
I feel sick. Can we move
until
on?
There's nothing left.
Let's move on.
Okay. So...
Look, people say they miss those, right? So
I just don't want to hear James saying... destroy you. I don't want
That's
that.
probably what he's like when he's doing his smack talk on Xbox Live.
Okay, no way, smack
and
talk.
Yeah, he's like playing COD and he's like, do you want me to destroy you?
That's horrible, Sean.
I feel uncomfortable.
That's what you sound like, mate.
Really?
What's the news, James?
You're an absolute thug, you brute.
There was a Indie World Showcase last week. Now, the problem is I did watch this, but I kind of half watched it, and I don't know what most of these games are. But I've got the list here that we can go through.
I mean, we don't need to do the full list, do we? Should we just do like our personal highlights and then talk about it as a whole?
I was quite pleased that there weren't that many deck building roguelike crafting games. That was quite good. I thought there was going to be.
James,
the thing is, James, there aren't that many.
Come on, Sean.
And the ones that there are actually very good.
They're always a roguelite stroke roguelite, or they're always something like roguelites or something like that. It's just, it's always like that.
I'm having a quick scan. I can't remember if there were any roguelikes, but anyway, should we just talk about like personal highlights?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll go through the list and we can decide which ones were interesting. I mean, the main one that I thought that interested me was Road 96. I thought that looked great. Yeah, it looks very interesting.
Yeah, it was a really good one to open with as well.
Yeah.
So this is the road trip one, but it's hitchhiking and it looks like a really interesting story and difficult decisions and all that stuff. Looks really cool, doesn't it?
Yeah. I thought that looked excellent. I mean, it's just loads and loads of branching pathways, isn't it? Basically, is what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
And
very David Cage.
Yeah, but good.
Is that come out on other platforms, or has this stuff just been announced for Switch at the moment?
It's probably been on early access since last year on Steam. Is that right, Sean? Because that's usually what we hear from
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
So rest assured I will be smug about it if it was.
Yeah. But yeah, it looks great. Then we had Ollie World, which...
Yeah, no, I like the early Ollie games. This obviously is, it's gone in a different, it's a different art style, different look, but this
looks cool,
great,
though, doesn't it? So this is, it's a bit sort of open world, isn't it? Still, like, obviously it's still sort of 2D, but it was like sort of 2.5D, wasn't there? There's sort of different planes and stuff sort of moving back and forth. But yeah, I mean, so I never played Ollie 2. And I'm well up for playing more Ollie, because I think after the show, they're like, oh, there's a bunch of discounts on the eShop. And yeah, the Ollie and Ollie 2 pack was like £3 or something. So I need to get that.
Oh, nice.
See, that's the thing, because I've never played one of these, because I remember when it came out, I was in China at the time, and I didn't have access to, like, being able to download it or whatever, because it was... Didn't it come out? What was it out? Was it Vita or something like that originally?
Vita, it was on iOS, wasn't it?
Was it?
Unless I swear.
I'm sure it was on Vita.
It definitely started on Vita.
It was as well.
Yeah, pretty sure it started on Vita. Yeah.
Yeah, because I never played it. I mean, is it still worth looking at? Like going back to all of
that? Yeah. So it did come out on Vita in 2014. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Jesus. It's still well worth checking out. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
In fact, it seems like it never came out on iOS. Yeah, Vita in 2014 and all sorts of stuff. But okay, cool.
Okay, then we had Hindsight. What was that? I don't know what that was.
I'm looking at these titles. I've already forgotten some of these. I mean, this is why I suggested maybe just doing highlights, James. But...
All right, fine. All right, okay, go on. Just tell me what things you liked. Tell me what things you liked. Because look, come on, I had to do a massive list. Because if I didn't do the massive list and try and go through it, Matt would be all like, "Oh, we should go through these in order of what was announced."
I would never have said that, James. I would
you
never
always say that. That is what you always say, Matt. You always say we've got to do it in order.
Well, I mean, that's what listeners have told me. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, okay. So what did you like, Sean?
There is no game. Has been out on PC for a bit, and I've got it. But apparently, it's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a series of puzzles where it's like obviously the joke is like it's trying to convince you that there isn't actually a video game involved at any point, and it's all about like weird little puzzles, sort of using like the interface and stuff, and it like shifts genres constantly and stuff. And apparently, it's proper good. So
I heard a lot of that they were going on about loads on the Giant Bomb Game of the Year show. Yeah, cool. and so saying that it's just got loads of amazing moments and it's great fun to play. But I never looked into it. I was assuming it's like some random PC title. But after hearing all that stuff they spoke about, I'm really excited to try and to give us a go on Switch.
Yeah.
Do you know when this is out? It's out now.
It was already out.
Yeah, according to this IGN piece, it was out today when it was posted. So yeah,
blimey,
cool.
Oh, there you go. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, Shredder's Revenge.
That interested me
because this was announced the other week, and I got confused because this is being made by Tribute, who did what have they done since? So basically, they're two ex-Ubisoft people, and while they're at Ubisoft, they did a TMNT game for the GBA, which is fucking great, and then they also did the Scott Pilgrim game, which is also proper good. So when I saw this, it was like, oh, are they getting to do like a conversion of the GBA? Because it looks a lot like the GBA one, but no, it's a proper full new game. Really excited about that. Chris Tales, I streamed the demo of this ages ago. It's like a sort of a JRPG, but not Japanese, but it's got this sort of weird time mechanic where I think it varies in the full game, but in the demo, this story event occurs, and then basically the screen's split into 3 segments, and any scene you're looking at is that like the middle is the present, and then the left is the past, and the right is the future. So as you're walking around town, you can sort of like move left and right and be like, oh, there's that person as like a baby, and then an adult, and then an old person. Like it's just absolutely bizarre, and just really gorgeous art style as well. Fez is coming out on Switch, and I'd be quite up for another run at Fez.
That's another one I've never played because it was
one. Yeah, me too.
Oh man, it is really good. Like if you can just park the fact that like Phil Fish may or may not be kind of a jerk, it's no, it is really good. What else? Oh, Art of Rally again. Been out on PC for a bit, but will be perfect on Switch. Just really, really good. Sort of like bare bones, like low poly rally game. But yeah, it's really good. And then, so there was House of the Dead remake.
Yeah. I mean,
did we know about this?
Nope.
No. So I didn't watch this thing live. But now I saw the tweets afterwards. And I was like, House of the Dead remake, and none of you guys have mentioned it in the WhatsApp group. So yeah, I mean,
I think
Switch,
I'd assumed I'd dreamt it or something. I was like, because it was literally like 3 seconds of footage or something, wasn't it? It was like they hardly showed anything. I mean, it looked good.
Yeah.
Hans, so what was it actually in the show? Because I've seen the full trailer. And that's
it was, yeah.
So
they're right. I didn't realise
but it was such a small amount in the actual show that you didn't even notice it.
I mean, it was probably more than 3 seconds, but it was as soon as my brain was just like finally getting my head around, like, what? Hang on, what? House of the Dead remake? And then it's gone, and something else was on. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised we haven't seen more remade light gun games on the Switch, given that it's one of the few consoles that because obviously you could just use one of the Joy-Cons, and it wouldn't be very comfortable. But
it'd be a bit rubbish though, wouldn't it? Because
it's not good.
It's not very good at doing the pointing stuff. It's pretty terrible at it. It's
I guess. Well, never mind then. And then they did the one more thing at the end, by the way, and obviously everyone was like, "Oh my god, it's going to be Hollow Knight Silksong." It wasn't, but it was Oxenfree 2. Now, I mean, I never played the first one properly. I've got it on the Switch, and it's meant to be really good. And,
it's brilliant.
Yeah, and the trailer for this one looked wicked. So I was sort of obviously somewhat salty about it not being Hollow Knight, but still quite excited.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in this because I love the first game. I thought it was brilliant. It's not very long. I mean, you can play it in a couple of hours, and it's
okay.
It's very interesting and quite.
What kind of game is it?
It's kind of it's it's kind of point and click, I guess, kind of, but sort of horror. It's but yeah, it's great.
Nice. Okay.
It's horror. It's not like gory or anything, is it?
No,
it's more just weird horror more than yeah. Yeah, cool. I mean, overall, I thought this was a really good show.
Yeah.
Just because it kind of addressed obviously we were complaining about the Microsoft one the other week, whereas this was just like, do you know what? It's fewer games, but each one of them is getting like a decent bit of time. I actually came away sort of understanding what each one of them was.
Yeah.
Apart from House of the Dead remake, which absolutely blew my mind.
I mean, if you look at it, there's quite. I mean, it's quite a big list actually. There was a lot of stuff, and it was one of those things where I watched it, sort of half watched it, and I was like, there's not much here that I'm personally very excited about, but I can see this is good stuff though. It still looks like it's stuff that I think people will be into, which is great.
Yeah. So it was decent.
Yeah,
overall.
So the lack of Hollow Knight. I mean, what do we think about that? Is it just has COVID affected them so badly? It's just
I don't know because there's only because Team Cherry is quite small anyway, so I don't know how much difference it makes. If they are all working from home, but then they're Australian as well. Australia's basically back to normal now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe development has ended up bigger than they initially planned, and it's maybe there's contractors all over the world helping out with it. I've no idea, but yeah, it's just interesting that they've sort of because it was initially they'd sort of said 2020, although they didn't give a firm date, and they've just as with a lot of games, they've just stopped mentioning any dates whatsoever. There was that big feature in Edge magazine on it, which was really good. But again, no hint of like how finished it is. So, don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. Every time there's an event, they're like, Silk Song? No, not this time. Silk Song? Not this time. Silk? Yeah.
It's going to happen at some point. It's just a matter of time, isn't it?
And it's just like, it's a big enough deal that it might be on one of the bigger Nintendo Directs, but I don't know. I would have assumed it would be on one of the indie ones, but don't know.
Okay, so that was that, and it was quite good, and it was fine. And then other stuff happened, in that okay, we all remember Days Gone. I mean, I've talked about it quite a lot in the past, and it's one of those games that like people do seem to talk about a lot, although not many people seem to have actually played, and that's something which has obviously annoyed Jack Garvin, who was on David Jaffe's YouTube channel recently to talk about it. He was the writer and creative director of it, and I mean, shall I give you the full quote here? He just said,
please.
He said, "If you love a game, buy it at fucking full price. I can't tell you how many times I've seen gamers say, yeah, I got that on sale. I got it through PS Plus. Whatever." So, yeah, he wasn't very pleased about that. And I mean, David Jaffe said to him, obviously, how can you know if you're going to love a game before you buy it? I mean, that's the immediate flaw, I think, in the plan. But I don't know. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, it doesn't work, does it? I mean, for one thing, it's not fair on people who can't afford to buy games at full price.
Yeah.
Like plenty of games that people might have loved, but they just didn't have 70 quid at the time that the game initially came out. Yeah, and as you say, like, how do you, like, yes, there might be games that you just, for whatever reason, you didn't pick up earlier, and it wasn't even a conscious choice of like, oh, well, I don't want that now, I'll get it when it's 20 quid. It might just be that for whatever reason, it just, it just wasn't in your sphere when it first came out, and then years later you heard about it and decided to pick it up and really loved it. What are you supposed to go back in time and buy it at full price? It just doesn't really work, does it?
See, also the other thing about this is, like, I get the fact that games are expensive to make and all that kind of thing, but if they're not selling like this, doesn't that kind of indicate that there's a problem? Like, with the way, with the pricing model and the way that everything's being done.
Well, exactly. Like, could we not turn around and say, well, if you want us to buy your games at full fucking price, don't spend so much making them?
Yeah.
Like, it goes both ways. Like, the market just has to find a level that it can bear and then work within that. Like, if games are so expensive to make that they can't be sold at a reasonable price that allows them to be profitable, then that's not consumers' fault. I
mean, the fact that you've got so many people are jumping on things like Game Pass and even like PlayStation Plus and stuff like that indicates that there's a problem with pricing. I think it's the fact
that people are so keen to jump on. I mean, I suppose Game Pass is odd because it's such a good deal, and Microsoft are, well, I mean, they're saying it's profitable. Still, I struggle to see how, but yeah.
But it's tough because you've had people for years saying, "Oh, I'll wait for this I'll wait until it's on sale," and then later I'll wait till it's on PS Plus or so on and so forth. And now you've got everyone saying Game Pass, it's free, and then you've got the other end of the spectrum of games, but game budgets getting bigger and games getting more expensive. So something's got to give. We have something like Game Pass where it just makes you think, wow, why would I spend 70 quid on a game I love when actually I know it'll come down in price within 2 weeks, or I actually think about I have got enough to play already on Game Pass or other things. It's amazing playing these like massive, huge budget games like Last of Us and Days Gone and Uncharted, that kind of stuff, God of War. But I do appreciate what he's saying. Everyone basically says, "Oh yeah, that game looks alright, but I'll wait till it's on sale." But you got.
I suppose the counter
in Sony Studios, but
I suppose the counter argument to the Game Pass stuff is like, so as a keen Game Pass user, like, it hasn't stopped me buying games when I've had to, right? It's not just like, oh, well, that's not on Game Pass, so I'm not going to buy it. Like, the fact that Game Pass is as good value for money as it is just frees up more of my cash to spend on the right games outside of Game Pass. Do you know what I mean? Like, Monster Hunter Rise was, I mean, to be fair, I got that for like 35 quid, but there was no question of me getting that or not. There was no like, oh, fuck, I've got to pay for a game again. Like, I didn't really come into it.
Yeah, but there's so many millions out there who, they're like, well, do I pay 8 quid or 15 quid or whatever it is a month for Game Pass if I didn't get a deal, or do I buy this game for 70 quid, which is like 6 or 7 months worth of Game Pass. But like I said earlier, I do see every time someone's like, that looks alright, but I'll wait for it's on sale. Wait until it's on sale. Wait till it's on sale. I'm like, obviously studios are a business and they try and make as much money as possible, but then you hear about budget's getting massive and it's not sustainable. That's why prices are increasing. And I mean, I don't know how all that stuff works when like someone buys something on sale. Like, so Amazon say have all these copies of the game. Do they? I mean, I don't know how that works. You know, are they taking a hit?
How do they
getting
report?
A refund from Sony? I don't know, but.
Yeah, I don't know the sort of the mechanisms of like so if Amazon get a load of PlayStation games, do they only pay upon like do they only pay Sony upon having sold them? And that, do you know what I mean? Yeah,
we don't know. Just paying... I mean, the only thing we do know was that stuff with Epic, wasn't it? Where they were just like paying loads of money to everybody to get them on the service. So it's like there are obviously deals that are done like this, you know, where they're helping with like, you know, even like helping with like marketing costs and all that kind of thing. It's like it definitely goes on. But yeah, do you want to hear about what he said about piracy as well?
Oh no, go on.
He says, I can tell you that when we were doing Siphon Filter Dark Mirror on PSP, we got so fucked on Dark Mirror because piracy was a thing and Sony wasn't really caught up on what piracy was doing to sales. And we would show them torrents. A torrent site had 200,000 copies of Dark Mirror being downloaded. If I remember it right, the numbers could be wrong, but regardless, I was pissed about it then. I was like, this is money out of my pocket. Which, you know,
it's not though. that whole like, you know, a pirated copy is a lost sale. It's never been true, has it? Because that'd be so many people who never had any intention of paying money for the game, but just for free they would check it out.
Yeah, but it's still obviously going to massively hurt.
I think
at that
time
it doesn't help, obviously, but I think quoting the figure and sort of assuming each one of those is lost money is not.
Yeah,
that's true. But then also at that time, like PSP piracy was absolutely rampant. Like it was one of the reasons why the platform didn't do, I think, as well as Sony had hoped it was going to, because I don't think they ever managed to make the money back on software.
But then piracy was rampant on the DS as well.
Yeah,
and that did all right.
Yeah.
So, don't know.
Yeah, but I think wasn't like PSP, I don't know, we don't know. Like I was going to say, like we don't know, like the PSP cost more to make than a DS or did or whatever, you know, it's, I don't know. Anyway, an ex-Nintendo designer says that F-Zero isn't dead, it's just hard to bring back. So this is Takeya Imura, he's now retired. He was an artist and designer who helped like on Majora's Mask and created like Captain Falcon and Fox McCloud and stuff. And he said that, F-Zero isn't dead, it's just hard to bring back and without a very big idea like for it. So,
I mean, yeah. I see where he's coming from. I think in the case of F-Zero, it's been long enough that like just a competent new F-Zero game that didn't even necessarily do anything particularly new would still be welcome.
I would argue that they have to do less than that. Just remaster some of the best games.
Well,
yeah.
They've done that. You see, he says this about, like, you've got, like, Star Fox, for example. They keep bringing that back, even though nobody asked them to, because none of them have been particularly good. I mean, the last...
That's true, because, like, on the one hand, it's like, you know, obviously this is what's so good about Nintendo, is that they, generally speaking, they won't just fart out an HD remake, Mario 3D Collection notwithstanding. Like, and, you know, they will sort of insist on always innovating if they're going to bring something back. But then, as you say, like with that most recent Star Fox, it was like, why have you done this?
Yeah.
What was it? The one on the Wii U? I can't remember what it was called.
There was the one on the Wii U which had like not very good controls, although the complaints
really
about that were overblown. It was perfectly playable. It was fine, but it also was basically just a remake of Star Fox again. And like they've done that repeatedly with Star Fox, and it's never been like, you know, as I mean, probably the N64 one was the last actually good one, and that was a long time ago.
The DS one, was it Star Fox Command? It was very good, but it wasn't really. Yeah, it wasn't really a Star Fox game, was it? It was
kind of like a strategy game, like which was
almost,
actually that was maybe not so bad. But
and then of course you've got Starlink, which is technically the most recent Star Fox game if you buy the Switch version. So in the case of F-Zero, I think like Matt says, just like a really good remaster, like if it's like all the same tracks but made with, you know, modern tech and stuff. I think people would be entirely up for that.
Again, get a remaster out, see what the appetite is, see what, you know, and you can tell from that alone if you say F-Zero is coming back or F-Zero is doing this or this is a remaster, remake, then that's a great indication of what it is without having to think of new ideas. I mean, I'm sure there's probably things they will probably have to modernise about even a remake or remaster. Probably, I'm sure there'll be quality of life things that people would expect these days. But at least get that out.
Just do a re-release of F-Zero X. That was for me the best one. Just put that out.
I was going to say GX, but I mean, either way.
I wasn't such a fan of GX because for me it was too fast. That was the problem with it. I preferred F-Zero X. I thought it was better. But put that out for like
racing game, please.
10 or 15 quid on the eShop. People will lap it up. It will be it would do well. That.
So, sorry, James. I'm not sure if Discord went funny there, but I thought you just said 10 or 15 quid. This is Nintendo. This will be 50 quid.
Yeah, man.
100%. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of like the aesthetic of F-Zero, like it's always had a sort of weird, sort of retro future look, hasn't it? It's never been. I mean, maybe in the SNES days, it probably looked legitimately cool then, but so I don't even feel like you'd need to do much with the aesthetic of it because it's always been kind of silly. So, don't know.
Yeah, I think that it could look really gorgeous on Switch.
Yeah, man. And obviously, and the tracks they did for Mario Kart 8, the F-Zero themed ones were amazing.
Yeah, they were. Just hearing the music again, wasn't it?
Yeah, man.
It was so good. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. It's interesting. It says, it's been quiet for nearly 2 decades, but it wasn't for lack of trying. And the quote is that he's thought about it many times. Now, I thought about running marathons many times. Doesn't mean I tried. You know what I mean? You can think about something all you want. That doesn't sound like trying to me.
I suppose it's just one of those where it's a case of having the right pitch for it, right? And getting someone at Nintendo to greenlight it. I guess that's what he's referring to.
Who love a remaster. They love reselling the same game again and again.
Yeah, but they also love making money as well, Matt. And it's like, that's why they keep re-releasing Mario Kart 8. Like, because it does very well. And so probably just thinking we've got that. We don't need
there hasn't been one of these for so long that this could be another one that they can now keep re-releasing every 5 years with a. I don't know. I mean, please just give it a go. Please just give it a go. And if it bombs, it bombs, and then we never have to mention it ever again.
You got to release it, please. Yeah, it's got to happen.
Please, you got to release it.
I mean, because there's other F-Zero-esque games knocking around, and
Redout?
Redout, which is apparently very good. But I don't know any and that came out on Switch, and I don't know anyone who's played it. Obviously, there was Fast Racing Neo, but that was a launch game, so I think loads of people picked it up just because it was something to play. It's good,
funny though. Like the whole futuristic racer thing is kind of they don't exist that much though now, do they? Like, not really.
There was Pacer recently, or that was more
great.
Wipeout.
Yeah.
I wish Wipeout. Really, I mean, that's gone, isn't it? Like that's just died. They're never going to release another one of those. Unfortunately, it seems.
Well, yeah, because Sony sacked everyone who made it. I think I've mentioned this before, but like Wipeout was always viewed as a uniquely like European thing. Rest of the world never really, and I think that goes for sort of futuristic hover racing in general. It's interesting.
Okay, Lego Super Mario has started crying out for Luigi. Although now we know what this is all about. So
what is this? What's happened?
There was a firmware update which came out, and then what was happening was that Lego Mario was crying out for Luigi, like after you woke him up or whatever, which is weird.
When you say crying out, like he's afraid, or just saying like, "Hey, where's Luigi?" I don't.
kind of like that. I think. Okay. I don't know. I've not investigated it, to be honest. This is why it's a shame Dave's not on here because he was really excited about this story. But just leave me cold.
I mean, you could have looked into the story and recalled what it said.
It wasn't interesting enough for me.
Sort of your job,
Matt. I didn't want to do it. I just didn't care enough.
Part of your job, baby. Part of your job. Read the news story.
But anyway, we know now that this was because there was like a new Super Luigi starter course is coming out, and it's coming out on the 1st of August. And it's 50 quid. And so that's what this was all about. It was kind of like a preamble to that coming out, which it is.
So what's the Luigi one? What is it any different, or is it just it's green and it says Luigi things instead of Mario things?
Yeah, basically.
Well, there's a bunch of new. It does new stuff. There's a bunch of new like courses. There's a new like starter set and some other bits. I watched the trailer today, and yeah, it looks good.
Cool.
Okay.
Do you know what's really interesting about this? Is this week James was getting very indignant on WhatsApp about how he always makes loads of notes for each news story.
No, I do, because I resent the fact that everyone just thinks all I do is just copy the headlines, because I don't do that.
Okay.
I actually do make notes, but the thing is like often I include news stories here, which I personally am not very interested in. But I still have to include them because I know other people are going to want to like, talk about it. Like, if Dave had been on, he'd have been loving talking about this, I'm certain.
Yep.
Whereas I know that you two, they're not so bothered.
It's not that I'm not bothered, it's just that Isaac's too young. Like, we've got, like, he's got some Duplo, right? And then New foolishly suggested that her parents get him some actual proper Lego for Christmas, and it's fucking liability every time he gets it out because the bits are too small. He can't really make anything. He throws stuff around. It's a nightmare. So I don't want to risk any Mario Lego yet.
Yeah.
But one day, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, Ash has got some. He enjoys playing with it. It's it's good. It's all good stuff.
Elodie is obsessed with Lego.
Oh, really?
And even she was like, "Oh, Mario Lego, that sounds awesome, Dad." And it does look awesome, but
and then you just didn't buy her any.
No, because she's got loads of sets. But this, I mean, I haven't got these, but like, what she loves about Lego is building sets that she gets with on instructions, and then deconstructing them, and then building her own kind of things using
exactly.
bits. But
that's cool.
This does look like that. It feels like you build it, and you play with it, and you deconstruct it, and you build it again. I mean,
that's been the thing that we found with Asher actually with this, is that like he has like a lot of other Lego that he plays with all the time, just building stuff. That's mostly what he does.
That's what Lego's so good about.
But with this, he builds it, and then he's like, okay, well I built it now, and it's all like as it's supposed to be, and like Mario can jump around. I don't want to take it apart. Like I'm just and then he just looks at it for a while, and that's it. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's as good at that as general Lego is, if you know what I mean. It's
No.
Because there's not enough pieces either to like start building. Like, unless you start spending serious money on buying loads of them, you wouldn't have enough pieces to be able to like make like your own Mushroom Kingdom or whatever. It'd be quite difficult to do that. It's but yeah. Anyway, next story is that PS4's internal clock battery could brick your console, apparently.
Oh, Christ.
So what this is that your PS4 can be rendered useless if the internal clock battery dies, and you won't be able to play any PS4 games, like whether they're digital or copies on a disc. Now, the reason for this, apparently, is it's because of how trophies work. And what this is... Well, no,
trophies?
Wow.
Yeah, it's because of the trophy system, because they built into this system so that to stop people manipulating the trophy system, it syncs with the clock, with the internal clock, to prevent you from doing that. So you can't sort of mess around with the time or anything like that. So if the battery in the PS4 dies, then it means that it can't sync the trophy system properly, and nothing will play for some reason. It's like it doesn't work properly. And the only way to correct it is if you just connect to PSN. Like, if you connect to PSN, then it will reset the time properly, and it will reset everything, and it will be okay. But obviously the big problem here is if PSN goes away, then you're done. Like, you're not going to be able to do it. I mean, you can replace the battery, but then that could still cause problems because you still wouldn't be able to sync properly. So,
but if PSN goes away, we're all done anyway, surely.
Well, yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, that's the kind of the thing, isn't it? But but that's the thing. But you don't get that with other consoles, do you? Really? Like, where, I mean, if I go and get my Xbox 360 out of the garage now, I can plug that in and I can play disc games at least, even if the battery's dead or whatever. I can still do that. Whereas with this, it won't be possible, which sounds terrible.
Jesus.
Although they have said that, I mean, Sony can fix it with a firmware update, though, apparently. So there could be a nice resolution.
Well, they better bloody had.
Well, yeah, they probably won't. But I mean, this was the bad news Sony story of the week, because there usually seems to be one every week these days. There's something that they've done which is like terrible. But we did have some better news this week, because they have now U-turned on the PS3 and Vita store shutdowns. So
hell of a week for U-turns, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, this was good news, obviously. I assume it's just because everyone kicked off and they've listened, which is nice. It's not like them, really, is it?
Yeah. I mean, do you want the quotes? I've got the full quote here. So, first of all, Jim Ryan said, "It's clear that we made the wrong decision." And then he said, "Recently, we notified players that PlayStation Store for PS3 and PS Vita devices was planned to end this summer. Upon further reflection, however, it's clear that we made the wrong decision here. So today I'm happy to say that we're keeping the PlayStation Store operational for PS3 and PS Vita devices. PSP commerce functionality will retire on the 2nd of July 2021 as planned." When we initially came to the decision to end purchasing support for PS3 and PS Vita, it was born out of a number of factors, including commerce support challenges for older devices and the ability to focus more of our resources on newer devices where a majority of our gamers are playing on. We see now that many of you are incredibly passionate about being able to continue purchasing classic games on PS3 and PS Vita for the foreseeable future, so I'm glad we were able to find a solution to continue operations. So, I mean, basically, they're just going to keep paying money for those servers, aren't they, for a bit longer, is what's going on. But,
fair dues. I mean, so the PSP store is still going, right?
At the moment, yes, but it will be shut down.
Right, but you'll still be able to get PSP stuff for the Vita, I assume.
Yes, I presume so, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's good. That's a good thing.
I mean, most Vitas don't work anymore because the batteries start inflating over time. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Yeah, it's something to do with the batteries they use in the Vita. The PSP.
Mm-hmm.
Over time, they sort of deteriorate and they start expanding like a carton of gone-off orange juice or something.
Oh, nice.
And they stop working. So there you go.
And as we just discussed, the CMOS battery was also going to screw PSP, so it's a ticking time bomb.
Right, okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same problem, like Vita, PS3,
Jesus.
PSP. I mean, it's good that they, heard all the feedback and they said, this is shit actually, isn't it? So it's good.
See, what's frustrating about this is that, I mean, Sony are having all this trouble, and the reason this is such a big problem is because, like with Xbox, there's the backwards compatibility and stuff will still work. Like stuff that I bought ages ago will still work. Whereas with Sony, their backwards compatibility stuff has been not great, has it really, over the last couple of generations? So the only option is using original hardware, which is terrible. And
hasn't Jim Ryan been quite vocal about just not really understanding why people would play old games as well?
Yeah. Doesn't care about preservation, does he?
Which is shitty. And obviously, someone's looked at a spreadsheet where they've gone, well, hang on, the servers cost us X amount, and this is how much we make in sales, and we're losing money, kill it. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, look, for the cost of keeping the service alive, it's worth it for the goodwill, and that's what we've seen. Microsoft take advantage of with their whole backwards compatibility thing. Is that, when they first made the decision, it was like, well, they're just trying to win people over, but, it's nice of them, I guess. And now it's, like, for me, it's quite an integral part of why the Series S is so cool. Yeah. Because the other night I played Skate 3 with some of my friends, and it worked, and it was brilliant. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's like a 10-year-old game at this point. That's amazing. So
they could have said at some point, all these PS3 and Vita games, we could just put them all on PS Now. And then somebody was like, what's PS Now? Why would we do that? It's never mind. Anyway,
so speaking about the CMOS battery, you didn't mention the PlayStation 5 issue as well, because following that CMOS issue that people found out, then they also looked in the PS5, and PS5 has the same issue, except that it will still play some physical games, it just won't play digital games. So it's got the same problem as all the previous Sony consoles have.
It's probably one of those things, isn't it? It's because it's all tied to the trophy system, and whatever Sony's web stuff is. It's probably, do you remember when PSN went down, because it turned out they were using ancient software or whatever for it. It's probably something like that where they just can't change it now because it was started in 2002 or something, and they've never bothered upgrading it.
And clearly, the battery running out is not a thing that was tested for. I'd be keen to hear if that's if that is an unforgivable oversight, or if that's pretty standard practice.
Mm-hmm.
That would be interesting.
I mean, it feels like it's standard practice in PlayStation or Sony consoles, but less so in others. I also there's loads of people also mentioning, the massive PlayStation hack, and were that to happen, people won't be able to play their games. And it's mad. It's happened 10 years ago, but it was down for 23 days.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's down a long time, and it's really bad. But 23 days now, imagine that. Yeah. It's you can't. I mean, it's nothing in the grand scheme of things, I guess, but it's
but you wouldn't get away with it
down
now,
for 23 days. It was around Christmas time, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I mean, that is what's crazy, because that's when disc games obviously were still the majority, I guess. So it was
so it wasn't the end of the world, because you'd still have your disc library, whereas now.
Yeah.
Not so much. Jesus.
Okay, there's been an Xbox Series X/S update so that you can see which games you've got in Quick Resume, which is
great. There hasn't yet, has there? This is, it's insiders only or something.
Yeah, for the moment this is for insiders. But what you'll be able to do is that you can then see which games are currently active or there's a state saved, and you can close them as well, which is handy. So this is good. I mean, that's one of those things I've always wanted, actually, is to be able to have a look and see what's opening. Because, I mean, I found Quick Resume is generally great, but I still sometimes get some games that don't come out of it properly. And
yeah, it's weird. And we've said like it's quite flaky with some games, but at least like obviously I'd just rather it was more consistent, but at least making it obvious and being a bit transparent about what's being quick resumed and what isn't. Would be really useful. Like, 'cause I've been really surprised by stuff that does support it. Like I've played quite a bit of Prey. Not enough to talk about it on the show really yet because it's quite a big game, but like the quick resume on that is absolutely perfect, and that's not like a brand new game, and it's had the 60 frames boost as well.
Nice.
So although it's not a Series S, enhanced game, like it looks and runs beautifully. Like the enhanced, like, and the loading times are like non-existent and everything. So well impressed with that. But yeah, so this is good news.
It is. Okay, before I get on to what was originally my last news story, there's a couple of other things happened. I mean, there's this Jeff Kaplan has left Blizzard Entertainment, so he was the Overwatch director.
Which, I mean, none of us are big Blizzard guys, are we? But I gather he's been there, what was it, nearly 20 years? So, yeah, and I've seen like a lot of people on Twitter like genuinely quite upset about this. Because like Overwatch especially means a lot to a lot of people. So, yeah, people are gutted about this, man.
I wonder why. I mean, is there any reason why we discovered yet? Because
I read his parting statement, and it just mentions like moving on to new things. It's all quite vague. I mean, they're working on Overwatch 2, right? I think that's now being handed
that's been worked
to. Yeah. You would have thought he would want to see that through, but I mean, who knows? Who knows what his reasons are for moving on? But yeah.
When you said earlier, Sean, I thought you said, none of us are big lizard guys.
Well, that is also true.
I mean, there's also a lot of truth in that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what's the other little story we had this week, James?
I mean, the other one was, I mean, Discord are now ended talks with Microsoft, so that's good. That looks like that's not happening now, so that's a good thing.
Do we know why that fell apart?
They decided they wanted to keep expanding the business as a standalone company was the thing. So,
well, this was what we said, wasn't it? Like, Discord was clearly like doing really well. It didn't. When we first talked about the story, we were saying like it didn't really make a huge amount of sense why they would sell to Microsoft. Like, it was such a strong brand in and of itself. And we were saying, like, if Microsoft did buy them, they'd better just keep it as Discord and not, like, rebrand it or anything.
Which they definitely would.
Well, yeah.
Of course they wouldn't. They wouldn't rebrand it. Like, they haven't rebranded GitHub or LinkedIn or anything, have they?
They wouldn't be able to stop themselves, Matt. It would become something to do with Microsoft Teams.
Other massive properties.
It would be something like Microsoft Teams. They have done it with other stuff. They did it with all the other stuff that they bought. Like all like their email apps they bought, calendar stuff, all of that. They all got merged into whatever they wanted it to be.
Yeah, but none of them are like massive brands.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
The two. In fact, like the three massive ones they bought: Skype, GitHub, and LinkedIn. They haven't rebranded them to Microsoft, whatever. It's the smaller things they can bring into their existing services. Yeah, sure, but these are properties you would hope that they would keep their branding to themselves.
I mean, Skype for Business is getting shit canned, isn't it? That's you use Teams now.
I mean, Skype was a joke before, and it's a joke now, but it's not Microsoft. It's not Microsoft Voice or whatever. It's still Skype.
Yeah.
For better or for worse.
I mean, good. Happy with this. Just seems like it's just funny, isn't it? Like, I know if you were looking for the detail, it's probably there, but the amount of times that you hear a story that's like, "Oh, this has happened," and then 2 weeks later, no, it hadn't, and now it isn't happening at all. Actually, the deal was never actually done. They were just in talks, and falling apart.
Yeah, and it'll be worth a lot more. They'll leave it a few years, and the people who do actually acquire it, or they get acquired, they'll get a lot more money.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously all the talk about like whether or not it makes sense for them to sell. Like, if there's a core team there who obviously have worked on Discord since day one, and then suddenly Microsoft are on the phone, then someone says, Microsoft are on the phone, they say we don't have to work ever again if we hand this over. Like, obviously, there's an appeal to that.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely start talks. If it doesn't work out, you're like, this isn't worth it. And it'd be stupid to say, nah. Let's hear your pitch. Let's hear what you're. So we're part of Microsoft Office. Forget it.
Okay.
Anything else, James?
Last story. Last thing we got is there was also Capcom had their Resident Evil showcase at the end of last week. And, I mean, they kicked off with a new Village trailer, which showed clips from the beginning of the game, which was, pretty good, I guess. And then they announced these 2 new demos that have come out, which is really weird, like the way that they've done this. Because both were time limited to 30 minutes only. And you could only play them. Well, it was only on PS4 and PS5, wasn't it, as well? Like,
so
initially.
Initially, commonly you can only have access to the first one, and you will only be able to access the second one on PS4 and 5.
Yeah. And only for 1 day. Is that right? Is it only for a
day?
day?
It was 6 hours. You had a 6-hour window to play the game, and you had half an hour limited time to play the demo within that 6-hour window.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It was very strange. Annoying. It's really strange. And what they did was they released the Village section first, which came out. We could play it on Sunday, wasn't it? Like last Sunday we could play it.
Yeah.
And then there's another one coming out. Is it this coming Saturday, Sunday again?
This coming Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to focus on the castle, is the idea. But the time limited thing is very strange.
What if you're busy? You might be at church on a Sunday.
Were you at church, James?
No.
I wasn't at church.
No. I was streaming this game, actually.
I understand that, like, a bit of an air of exclusivity around the demo, but fucking 6 hours?
Yeah.
So, sorry, just for anyone correcting, it's actually 8 hours, apparently.
Oh, okay.
8 hours, doesn't change much. But 8 hours, for half an hour.
Mm-hmm. Like, that's so restrictive that surely loads of people are just going to miss out.
Yeah, almost certainly.
But, no, I'm fine.
But the one that's out on all platforms, you'll have 24 hours to play that, and a maximum of 60 minutes, because you'll be playing both of the demos.
Right.
But you have 24 hours in which to play. Yeah.
Fair enough. Was there anything else, or do you want to go on to talk about your experience of the demo, James?
Well, there are some other things. What do you think?
No. Let's talk about the rest of the stuff that's announced.
Yeah. Get out first.
Okay. So, I mean, to be honest, the rest of the stuff I don't think it was terribly interesting. They had Village's Mercenaries mode. They talked about that.
That's big.
Yeah, a lot of people wanted that, didn't they? So,
because as you know, can't do scary games, but I fucking love a bit of Mercenaries.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I mean, if it's fully fleshed out, I'd almost consider looking into getting it just for that.
It looked really good from just from the trailer they put out. And it looks nice because obviously it's the RE engine anyway, and first person. And I've never played a Mercenaries mode. So what's the overview of a Mercenaries mode?
It's basically like an arcade mode. So like you'll just be in like a bit of the village or whatever, and it's just like waves of baddies coming at you. Mm-hmm. And it's just really cool being able to play like a bit of Resident Evil, but like really just focusing on the combat and like sort of being inventive with it. And it's Resi 4 that did the first one, right? And then it was in 5 as well, and was arguably the best bit of Resident Evil 5.
Didn't 2 have Mercenaries as well? Wasn't it?
Oh, did it?
I'm sure it did. Yeah, there was like extra game modes with stuff with things like that. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, it's a much more sort of arcadey. Like obviously it's still pretty scary at times, but there's no like zero narrative. It's just just you're in basically an arena and you're just shooting zombs. It's good fun.
Then they also talked. Well, they didn't really. They mentioned the Resident Evil like Reverse, which is the competitive multiplayer, as being free for Village owners as well. But there was no further details of that. And then there was a trailer for Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, which is this CGI series that's coming out on Netflix, which is Leon and Claire. And it's coming in July this year. And it's set after Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, it's got the same voice actors from the game, hasn't it?
Wicked.
I think one of them, at least, is that. Yeah. So, and I mean, I obviously knew, there's going to be Resident Evil movies. This sounds amazing. And like a Netflix series. And then when I heard it's CGI, not live action, I was a bit like, okay, I'm a bit
Well, I don't know. I think the CGI is probably a better bet. The live-action Resident Evil movies have not been great, have they?
No, but when they say, wow, it's a Netflix series, already in my mind, it's like, okay, well, this, I feel like they would put more into it, or that gave me more confidence that it could be a reboot, it could be something exciting. Anyway, whatever.
I mean,
CGI
Netflix,
it is what it is.
Netflix managed to put out a good Castlevania series, so anything can happen.
That's true. That Castlevania series was excellent. I really enjoyed that. And so if it's anything of that kind of quality, then I'll be in for this.
Mind you, the Dragon's Dogma one was shite.
I was going to ask about Dragon's Dogma, so was that just bad, Sean?
Oh, it was just boring. It was sort of like simultaneously too similar and yet not enough like the games, or game rather. It was just not particularly interesting, sadly. And just like some genuinely bad animation and parts and stuff. So I didn't make it past the first episode, unfortunately.
Yeah. So when I heard it was CGI, I was a bit like, okay, I was a bit disappointed. But I'll definitely check this out just to see what it's like.
Totally,
James.
Yeah,
James.
I didn't know you were saying to me to do next. Anyway,
it's your section, mate. Oh, don't matter. Anything else?
Okay, then there was also this live-action film, which is Welcome to Raccoon City, which apparently is finished filming now and is in post-production.
Which I am interested in.
Why?
Who's in it?
What?
Anyone famous?
I don't know, but I assume it's like a reboot. And
hopefully it'll be better than the other. As I said, the other films were dreadful, Matt.
It wouldn't take much.
I've only
seen like the first couple, and there's like 7, wasn't it? There's absolutely loads of them.
There's fucking loads of them. Yeah. Are they genuinely bad, or are they just not like the games?
They're not like the games and bad. Yeah. Like they're just not very good, apparently. But yeah.
Okay. Failure on both fronts. Cool.
Yeah. There's also Resident Evil is joining Dead by Daylight. There are going to be more announcements about that by the 25th of May. I don't even know what that is. So, yeah.
What don't you know? What the game?
What is Dead by Daylight? I don't even know what it is. What is it?
It's a multiplayer game where one of you plays people trying to escape, the other one or someone else plays a killer. Jason Voorhees or whatever. And it's like if you're trying to escape, you're trying to like light up his generators. You need to like light up a certain amount of generators to like power the gate to get out. It's
huge, isn't it?
It's like an excellent game. Yeah, it's done incredible in terms of sales, and everyone's always streaming on Twitch and stuff.
Yeah. That's why I don't know anything about it. But yeah, there's going to have Resident Evil stuff in it. Then also Capcom have also announced like Resident Evil 4 VR for Oculus Quest 2, which is being developed by Armature, and it's basically
fair dues.
The whole game, but in VR. So that sounds good.
Oh, will I be too scared to play that? Because obviously I've played and finished Resi 4. It's fucking great. So it's one of the few I can actually... Because
it's not scary at all.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not really a horror game. But will VR put me over the edge? Will that be too much?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's a streaming series.
Absolutely.
It could well be,
waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So this is actually the first Oculus Quest 2 exclusive. We've also had as well.
I wondered when we'd start seeing those. Interesting.
I'm going to go see more. Oculus have got a show on the 21st of April where they go show loads of other gaming stuff. So,
cool.
And we'll see more about it then. But no, I'm... it was interesting from the trailer. I've only got Quest 1, so... I got to go play it. But,
I think it's sort of... I don't know. I'm trying to think how I feel about Quest 2 exclusives. Obviously, I've got a Quest 2, so I'm fine. But... It's like on the one hand, the Quest 2 is definitely done incredibly well, and I think it's like the one that a lot of people are aware of now, like regular consumers, aren't necessarily like obsessed with VR. I think it's in terms of visibility, it's done really well, but also like the Quest 1. I mean, it's not that much worse, like specs wise, is it? Like, there's not a huge amount separating the two, and also. The Quest 1 was only around for 2-3 years before the Quest 2 came out. So I'd be pretty sick if I'd bought a Quest 1 and suddenly Quest 2 exclusives are coming out. Don't know.
Yeah, it's I didn't know when we'll get these, but obviously this game is demanding enough that it requires Quest 2 hardware.
Yeah. But then it's Resident Evil 4. It's well old. I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway, I can't wait to see more about that, to see what it's actually like.
Yeah, definitely.
I will not be playing that game, but I would like to because, I like a bit of Resident Evil in VR, even though it is generally terrifying. But although Resident Evil 4 isn't, so that'd be okay.
No. Look, I'm just saying, if getting my head taken off with a chainsaw in VR is not going to be. Oh God, I wonder if it your first person view plops on the ground.
That would be that. That might make me feel sick. But that sounds. Oh, let's hope so. I mean, even the inventory and all that stuff. Did you watch the trailer, you two?
I didn't know. Sorry.
Yeah, even obviously it's all in 3D because that's what VR is. But all the inventory stuff is all kind of in your face and I hope it's good. That'd be really good.
All right.
But speaking of Resident Evil, James,
I know I played the Resident Evil Village demo. I did stream it the other night, and
I watched quite a bit of it. It was good.
I had problems with the microphone as usual, but then it worked out and it was fine. And I mean, it's only 30 minutes, so there's not really much there, to be able to sort of talk about in sort of depth. I generally enjoyed it, but it didn't look like you got to actually play much. Seemed like a lot of cutscenes and stuff. Yeah, there were quite a lot of cutscenes, and you got a feeling for the environment and everything, and that was one of the things which I was a bit disappointed with, and in general I'm a bit disappointed with Village, actually, because to me it doesn't feel scary at all compared with 7. 7 I found very unsettling to play. It was very uncomfortable to go through that house, and just even the jump scares and stuff were horrible in that game, and in a very effective way. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very sort of thrilling. This, I didn't feel that at all. I felt very little in terms of the atmosphere, in terms of it being sort of like a horror game or scary at all. It feels much more like this is a fantasy game than a horror game. In the same way that this is one of the reasons why Resident Evil 4, although it's a very good game, is not one of my favourite in the series, because I'm less keen on that sort of direction when they go in that sort of way with the sort of fantasy elements. I mean, this felt like I was like Van Helsing or something like that, rather than like a horror film, which is kind of for me is a bit of a shame. But it did still look incredible, and it was still fun to play, especially with the DualSense stuff, because it had all that sort of it was harder to pull the triggers back and things like that, which was quite fun. I mean, the bit that I enjoyed the most was when I was going through these this tall grass, and there's all movement around you and you can't see, and it's whether something's going to suddenly pop out at you, and then it did, and it was good. It's but I don't know, it's still, for me, in terms of enjoying it as a horror game, I wasn't really digging that quite so much, I think.
But maybe, so did you think the first demo, did you think that was more atmospheric than this one?
I think so, yeah. It definitely, if that definitely felt more atmospheric. That's why I'm hoping that the castle demo, I'm going to get more from that in the next week. But just in general, when you watch the cutscenes and you watch the trailers they've released for it, it doesn't feel like a horror game to me, which I know doesn't matter. But it's just I really liked 7, and I really like what they did with that, and how it really did feel like a scary game. Again, in the same way that the first one maybe did as well. When it first came out, and this feels to me like a bit of a step back from that. From trying to make something. This feels more like a sort of an action fantasy thing, which I'm less into. But I'm still definitely going to play it. I mean, I've ordered it, and I'm sure it will be very good.
£7. I actually reminded you, didn't I, on Sunday? It's James, I know you've got it downloaded, but make sure demo today we can play it from. I think I said mistakenly 4, but it's actually 6. And then I failed to play it in time because something came up. So I watched a stream on Twitch instead. Actually, no, I watched your stream. I watched your video today, James, and it looks excellent. I think you're probably right. It definitely looks less intense than Resident Evil 7, which I didn't play, and I always feel like I will want to play it, but it looks like it'd be too much for me. And some people, I think, like Capone Adam said in your chat, even Matt will be able to handle this because it's less scary. But I mean, I was watching your stream, and it's not like I was cowering behind the couch or anything. But I was like, well, this seems quite intense when you were in that long grass and the werewolves or whatever it was were popping around you, and I don't know, but it looks fantastic. I mean, graphically it looks amazing, and it just I think the atmosphere. I know you said you weren't into the atmosphere as much, or maybe it wasn't as oppressive as the stuff you loved from 7, but just when you met these other villagers and you got pushed into that barn and you kind of everyone's all freaking out because people are missing and stuff. All that looks awesome. Over the last like few months, I've been watching a bit of like I can't remember what they call it, but kind of basically like kind of folklore horror films like The Witch, which is that kind of stuff, and to a lesser extent films like Midsummer. And I definitely got kind of The Witch vibes from watching you play that game, where it's it's something. I mean, although this is definitely much more fantastical with werewolves and other stuff. And I think you mentioned actually when you played it, like, and I know you said you felt like it was a bit of a silly statement when you said it on stream, but Resident Evil 7 felt much more grounded, much more realistic, whereas this will have big huge monsters and werewolves and stuff, and maybe that. You won't enjoy that as much.
9 feet tall, sexy vampire women. She's not in that demo, is she? I think she's going to be in the next one.
Probably, almost certainly. I should think so. Yeah.
They've also said. I mean, I haven't read too much into it, so maybe the clues were there. But yeah, she's basically going to be like a Mr. X style character that follows you around the mansion.
And everyone's just been going, "Oh no, she's back! Oh, please don't catch me! Oh, look, she's caught me!"
So I'm like, oh, don't want to be chased, but I don't know. So I'm not sure if I will get it because I want to. It looks amazing, and watching on stream was like, hey, this looks brilliant. Pretty much every bit about it, but I don't know. I'm a bit. I'll
tell you what, Matt. I mean, I'm getting it anyway, so I can send it up to you after I'm done with it, and you can try it if you want.
Thanks. Well, no. What will probably happen is I'll say I'm not getting. I'll see a review and I'll buy it. I'm like, why isn't it here yet? And then I'll leave it for 2 weeks and then I'll maybe start playing it. But no, it looks amazing, and this is obviously one of the big titles that's actually coming out in the next weeks and months. So I feel like I want it. I mean, I'm not going to play Resident Evil 7 maybe ever, and certainly not before this. So I may just watch like a catch up thing to see what the story is about. Because 7,
they won't even necessarily be linked, will they?
There is links between it, in terms of the characters, but I don't think it's I don't think it would really matter if you hadn't played 7.
So I knew some of the characters were like similar, but in my mind, this like directly follows on. Is that not the case?
I think it is, but again, I don't think it really matters. You could still probably get quite a lot from it.
Yeah, I think, I'm not sure if it's like an official one, but I saw some people say, oh, watch this video to catch up on Resident Evil 7. So maybe Capcom will put out like an official kind of, catch-up video if people who didn't play that game. But no, this looks amazing. Well, when's the game actually out?
Very soon. I don't actually know the date, but I know it's less than a month away, I think. Right.
And I typically buy everything on Xbox for multi-platform, but I think with like the PlayStation triggers and stuff, I think I might play. I think if I were to get it, I probably would get it on PS5 because I want to see what I just want to play more games which have utilize the triggers in a cool way.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it funny? Like normally when a new console generation lands, it's like every big game that comes out, it's like but which platform has the best version? Whereas since the series and the PS5 came out, there's not been that many big games where that's been a thing.
Not really.
Do you know what I mean? There's not been any huge releases that are multi-platform, and then it's like, clearly the Xbox was the lead format or whatever. There's just been none of that. I mean, which, good, because that stuff doesn't really, there shouldn't be any differences between the versions, ideally. But yeah, I don't know. Just seems like, I feel like that was a huge thing and just hasn't been this generation so far.
I'm sure, probably it's partly because hardly any games have come out. And probably, I mean, that's one of those things that I think will probably become bigger as time goes on, won't it? As people start to exploit different parts of the hardware and that kind of thing.
True, and especially when, the sort of post-Microsoft purchase Bethesda stuff starts coming out, and it's going to be like, well, it's on the PS5, but it's not really... I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
Have you played anything else, James?
The only other thing I've played quite a lot this week is Super Mario 3D World. And it's because, I said I got to the end and then I kind of stopped because I wasn't enjoying it anymore because it was annoying me. I decided I wanted to hate myself even more and I went back to it. And I spent quite a lot of time going through the whole game again and finishing the game with different characters as well.
Again?
What? The whole game again?
Yeah, with different characters. I went through with the other characters as well. I'm now at a stage where all I've got to do is the final level, which is the Champions Road one, with the 5 characters, and I've completely 100%ed the whole thing. Because I went back and I did the I was stuck on this challenge, it's this like 30-star challenge, which is ridiculous because it's one of those things where you have to do it like flawlessly because there's like a time limit, and you have to do like 30 stars one after the other completely flawlessly. If you make any mistakes at all, then it's not gonna happen. And it's amazing because it really is. It's one of those. The thing with Mario games is it really is like you just have to get in the zone with it, and you just have to keep trying, and then eventually you figure it out, and like. Yeah, the muscle memory in your fingers or whatever does the job, and then you do it. And it's like I did that challenge like twice in a row, like perfectly. And even though before it had taken me weeks to do that, to get to to being able to do it. So I know that I can finish this now 100%. I just need to do this final level. But it's really annoying me because there's a section in it that I just can't get past at the moment. And it's like I can do it, but not reliably. Like I can do it like maybe, I don't know, 2 times out of every 10, and it's annoying because it means that I'm sure if I can start to do that bit reliably, then I'll be able to get through the whole thing, but it just hasn't happened yet, and I know that I'm just going to have to sit down for a couple of hours and just keep doing it over and over until I've done it. And I know this sounds insane, but I do get a genuine feel of massive accomplishment from doing this. So even though it is irritating me and I'm shouting quite a lot when I'm playing it, I am enjoying myself, despite what my wife thinks about this. It's the other day, because I got really angry because one of the things that was annoying with the 30-star challenge is that it's time limited. So every single stage that you have to do is that you've only got like 10 seconds to do it in. As soon as you've defeated everything or done whatever, the star appears, but the clock doesn't stop. So on numerous occasions, it was like I got stuck or something. So I'd done it, but I couldn't get the star to like move on to the next bit, and I screamed quite a few times. And then like Chen came in, and she was just like looked at me, and I was like, "Don't judge me, just like I was like, I'm enjoying myself here. Okay, it may not sound like it, but I am enjoying myself." And
see, when I'm doing something like that, I just sort of go quiet, and Noo will be like, if she's hanging around, she'll like ask me a question. I'll be like, just give me a minute, not now. Like I never like lash out, and obviously because she's like barely paying attention, she doesn't even realise that I'm like having a hard time doing a bit in a game or whatever. I mean, obviously you know me, I don't tend to play games where that's a thing anymore anyway. But it's just like it's not like it's this sort of self-loathing of not being able to do it, and then also like it sort of compounds itself by also having additional self-loathing for being annoyed at myself for something as stupid as not being able to do a bit in a computer game. You know what I mean? It's like not only do I like feel bad about not being able to do it, but I also feel stupid about feeling bad about it. You know? So it's more like just embarrassment for me.
No, I vocalise my irritation, like because it really does annoy me.
To an extent, that's probably healthy.
But but as I said, it's funny because I do enjoy it. Like it's even, and the thing is like I don't generally nowadays like try and like finish things like 100%. Like I don't do that so much anymore as I did when I was younger, because when you're younger, you don't have that many games, so you often spend time just playing everything to within an inch of its life. Whereas with this, I don't do that, but I still like to do it with Mario like platformers, and it's one of those things where I feel like the time when I can't do that anymore is the time when I'm probably finished, like in terms of being able to play games. It's
time
like,
to die.
Because I still want to challenge myself to be able to do that, and I love it. It's fantastic. So
I think like with Mario games, there's we always say it's like most Mario games, you sort of finish them quote unquote, and then a load more stuff opens up, and it's not like it's not just like it's super hard mode. It's like more interesting stuff. Yeah, like so it's like the developers want you to feel like you've accomplished something, but they do really want you to try the later stuff. Yeah. So yeah, totally get that.
It's funny because like I finished the 30-star challenge or whatever, and like Chen was sitting next to me, and I was just like, that was pure skill. Like, and then she just looked at me with such disdain. Like it was like she just like such sort of pity, and I was like,
looking at you like you could have picked up a musical instrument in the time it's taken you to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like I was like, I'm actually good at this game. I'm very good at this game actually, and she looked like utter contempt, like really, which is a shame. But
I nearly showed the other week. I tweeted a clip from Monster Hunter where. Long story short, I managed to do... so I play with the Sword and Shield, right? And one of the moves is where you do a slide, and if you connect with it, you do an uppercut, you jump into the air, and then you can then either do a slash or a shield bash downward again. And basically, so I went for the shield bash, and the monster sort of went to attack me, but then I perfectly connected with the shield bash and fucking broke its horns off or whatever, and it was fucking amazing. And I was a bit I want to show my wife this. I'm really proud. And I didn't know, but maybe I should.
Sean, you should have both recorded your footage and then record yourself crying and send that to her and say, look at this. And just to see her reaction.
A photo of me with a single tear down my face. This is how I felt when I did this.
It's it was amazing. I've never felt this happy in my life.
Yeah. Wedding. Fuck that.
Best day of my life.
It's the reason I love this as well is it's just it's something that, I don't know, this sounds pathetic, but it gives me feeling, doing this, and that's why I enjoy it. It's I still get a rush from doing this, and it's great. It's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's it. Cool. That's what I played this week.
Absolute nerd. You absolute fucking loser. Enjoy your little games.
It's just the adrenaline rush, isn't it?
Yeah.
Out of getting doing something like that well and getting it right.
Yeah. Especially when you nail it twice in a row, and you're like, I am the best. It's
guilty.
Yeah. Right, Matt. What about you?
The only thing I've really been playing is Fantasian still.
Oh, yeah.
I'm absolutely loving it. I think I'm getting near the end now, and it's bonkers that I've basically played 17 hours of a JRPG on my phone, and I'm loving every minute. This Razor Kishi thing I bought, I think I said at the time, I bought it basically as a way to, I can do my Microsoft reward points things downstairs on the phone rather than having to go up, really, I have to walk upstairs. It's just horrible. So I thought I'll buy that, and I've got to be a little bit cheaper. But no, it's coming into its own now. I'm playing this game like it's a Switch on my couch or upstairs, and it's just I'm just loving the game. I really have got into the rhythm of this JRPG, and I'm excited to finish it and see what else is out there that I haven't really played. I mean, the first one I probably played was Final Fantasy VII, and love that. And I know that's much more of an action one, given the combat remake, system. But I'm just loving this. I mean, it's by no means a perfect game or even an incredible game, but I've just really enjoyed getting in the rhythm of understanding, okay, here's how combat works, here's how I can, strategize within combat scenarios when it comes to using certain moves or certain kind of ways to, save my party if it looks like things are going south. The story isn't an awful lot to write home about. Musically, it doesn't really, for me, have a really amazing theme. Final Fantasy definitely.
That's interesting that you're saying that, because it's the first sort of quote unquote proper JRPG you've enjoyed. Usually story and soundtrack are a major thing in JRPGs. So it'd be interesting to see if you go on to play another one with a actually good story and soundtrack. Whether or not
the story it's pretty. I mean, you can see it coming a mile off, and this is only part one and don't know how many parts will be, or when even part two will be out, and how many parts will even be. So maybe this will ultimately have a big payoff. But there's been a big, in the last couple of hours, there's been a big story moment. I'm like, okay, well, cool. I'm not really feeling anything for any of the characters, but there's definitely kind of similar vibe to Final Fantasy VII, where you're the hero, and there's two kind of female counterparts, or female team members that you're with, and it's kind of who likes who kind of thing. It's feels very much like a Tifa and Aerith kind of situation. So story it's not doing an awful lot to me. It's not like the story is the one that's dragging me through. But I'm also, having only really played Final Fantasy VII Remake, but the music in that being so good, and you hear, I mean, there's loads of kind of different versions of the core theme or the core bit of music that I, to my untrained ears, found and enjoyed. And even when I hear that on the trailer, I think they did a trailer for for retrograde or whatever the new one is, the new version coming soon.
Oh, yeah.
And do you hear like one bit of music? I'm like, oh my god, that song is so bloody good. Like, and I've never really been one to listen to game soundtracks, but
I always remember whenever the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack comes up. When I went to, do you remember Video Games Live?
Yes.
Yeah, Tommy Tallarico doing his sort of touring orchestra, playing video game soundtracks and stuff. And yeah, I remember they played. I think it was One Winged Angel. For Final Fantasy VII, and it was just like the first two notes of it, and someone a couple of rows behind me just went, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, I don't even know the name of the track that I love so much. I should probably try and dig that out. But anyway, the music in Final Fantasy VII is amazing. It has like some key themes it uses, none of which blow me away. So it's not the story, it's not the music, but I think it's just. I just like the rhythm of the game. I think the game looks nice, so graphically it looks nice. But I'm enjoying the rhythm of, moving forward in story, going to this area, talking to everyone in the town. More story progresses a bit more. So you're meeting a bunch of new people quite often, which is good to join your party, so you get new moves to unlock, new moves to understand. And no, I'm loving it. But I think what I'm loving most is the fact that I've genuinely enjoyed every minute of this, and I 17 hours. I think I've read it's like around 20-hour game, so I think I'm getting quite close to the end. But
I was going to say, because I know we talked the other week about like maybe other JRPGs you might now want to get into, and I was because I was going to say obviously Octopath Traveler is now on Game Pass, but you can't play that on your phone, can you? The app's not.
No.
You can stream it from your console, can't you?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, like the lag and stuff, but I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
I mean, again, what I've loved about it is the fact that I can just pick it up and play it downstairs, or wherever I am on my phone. I think if I was locked to the TV, I wouldn't put anywhere near as many hours. It's the same thing, reason why I love Switch so much. I can get 15 minutes in there and a half an hour in there. So, but yeah, I haven't finished this yet, and I'm excited to get through it and get it finished. But I'm definitely interested to know what else is out there that I've missed or that I would like. I mean, I think another thing I like about it is I know it's only a 20-hour game. I think
that's
I
powerful.
Probably wouldn't have jumped in quite so much if I knew it was like an 80 or 100-hour game. I mean, I know Final Fantasy Remake took me like 55 hours, so that wasn't again a 100-hour game, but it's still meaty. But the fact I know this is like 20 hours, I'm like, okay, that's good.
It's manageable.
I know I'll be able to see it to the end. So no, but I'm loving it. And anyone who has like even passing interest in JRPGs and has Apple Arcade sub, I definitely recommend giving it a go. I'll have it finished by next week, and I'll be able to tell you what I thought overall. But no, I'm loving it.
See, I would recommend Persona games for you, but you can't really play those on the move, as it were. You really have to be sort of on a console, unfortunately, these days. I mean, there was Persona 4 on Vita, but yeah, that's about it.
And none of them on Switch?
No, not.
Oh no, because there's that rumor, isn't it? The rumor's been going forever. Like Persona 5 for Switch, and it's never that. It's always a fucking Smash Brothers character with everyone's dead.
Persona 5 is so good.
Yeah.
Such a good
I mean,
game.
if you want one on the Switch, I think I mentioned this last time, but yeah, Bravely Default 2 came out last month and is apparently brilliant, but it was just, and I was keen, but it came out like 2 weeks before Monster Hunter or something, so I was like, well, I'm never going to finish it before Monster Hunter comes out, so... But I mean, that's probably another really long one, though. Yeah, and
another thing again I like to face is that I wasn't overwhelmed or intimidated by, well, this is like the 19th game in a series, or or even the second game in a series, and the first game is like 50 hours. I knew this was like first game, the start of possibly a franchise, only 20 hours, play it on my phone. It's like the perfect recipe for me playing it and enjoying it. But I've been basically playing it like a Switch with the Razer Kishi. So yeah, I've been loving it. It's like if I have 5 minutes spare, I'm like, quickly get that out and play that for a bit, and it works really well. I've also been playing a bit of Clap-Hands Golf, still excellent.
I've had a quick go on this.
Oh yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, really like it. So I've been playing it with the touchscreen controls.
Oh yeah.
Which, I mean, with nothing to compare it to, I haven't tried it with a controller. Fine. I mean, obviously this is on iPad, so I don't know if maybe having a bit more real estate on the screen sort of helps. But yeah, it's weird how like graphically it's really not brilliant, which is fine. But obviously it's on Apple Arcade, so they must have known it was only going to be on relatively high spec devices. So that seemed odd.
Well, I don't know what like the minimum specs is for Apple Arcade. I mean, there must be some, I don't know, iPhone 6,
maybe there are older
maybe,
devices that still, but yeah, no. Other than that, it's everybody's golf on a portable device, which is
I've seen
entirely
some people
welcome.
like on Twitter like tweet about it this week. So hopefully it's good to see more people playing it and
Hang on.
mentioning it.
Matt, you've played it. Have you played it mostly with controls though? Yeah, not touchscreen.
I tried it once with a touchscreen and I didn't really like it, so I've used it back in the controls. Yeah.
Because that's what I was wondering what it's like, because I've heard not so great things about the touchscreen controls, but is that not correct, maybe?
I mean, maybe if I try...
As Sean said, if you've got nothing to compare it against.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe if I try it with a controller, I'll never go back, but as it currently stands, I've been okay with the touchscreen controls. Don't know.
Yeah, but playing these games, one, I'm thinking, when the sub, when it's time to renew, I'll probably renew it for at least another month, and then we'll see where we are. But I've got Apple TV, but I don't have Apple TV 4K. But I think, well, hang on, I could be playing Fantasian on the TV downstairs as well. You know, if but I don't have.
Hang on, wait a minute. You don't need a 4K one for that.
No, I suppose I don't. I don't really.
Just play it on. It's fine. It's great. I mean,
can I? Because I did at one point have like a SteelSeries. I can't remember what, but had when I first got Apple TV and when apps were on it, I bought like that and the controller day one. But
Matt, you can connect a DualSense to it.
I can. Okay.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Okay, so I could play Fantasian on the TV. Okay, I might investigate that then.
That stuff with Apple Arcade is very good, actually. Like, in the sense that you can start playing on one device as well and then continue playing on another. Like, if you've got, like, multiple things all over the place.
Does your progress just carry...
I played stuff on, like, my phone, and then I just started playing it on the TV instead. It works...
That's cool.
Yeah, it works really, really well. Like, because it syncs, like, cloud syncs all of your, like, save games and all, like, your progress and stuff. Because what was that? Was it NeoCab? I played NeoCab like that.
NeoCab, yeah.
Yeah, and that was great. The only reason I've really didn't bother with this any further was there wasn't anything that came out for a long time on Apple Arcade that seemed interesting, so I kind of didn't bother. But
it's
maybe
really
I should try
built up now, though. And it is interesting seeing that sort of... like, it is struggling a little bit with the fact that, like, it's now being used on so many devices. Like, you know, so a couple that I've tried out, so like Wonderbox and Cozy Grove came out recently, and they're both like, we've got touch controls, but probably get a controller if you can. So yeah, it's interesting. It's like, well, yeah, because a lot of people are probably playing these on Apple TV, and if these are games that were, you know, primarily built for consoles initially, like the touchscreen controls are going to be, you know, relatively speaking, an afterthought. I mean, they've been fine from what I've played of either of them, but it's just interesting that like in my head, like, because I only experience Apple Arcade as an iPad user, I forget that actually there'll be people who mainly use it on the TV or a phone. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, so I'm still playing that, and obviously James and I played It Takes Two. That's still fantastic, but it's mostly been Fantasian this week, cool. And that is it for me.
I've got a couple. One of them is Sea of Thieves. Dave's not here, so I'm not going to get shouted at, I assume. It's only a quick one. So the new season has started and has added some stuff. So like the sort of battle pass style thing, the plunder pass has sort of reset and there's a new one. I'm definitely not paying for it this time round though, because it just doesn't add enough stuff.
Is it not like the other battle passes and other games where if you have played enough of the previous season, you've got enough of the currency to buy it for free, or doesn't it work that way? It's cash money,
although actually I suppose can you pay for it with
like Rocket League works, Destiny works, and Fortnite? Well, Destiny. Actually, I'm not sure about Destiny, but definitely the other two.
I'm not sure because I know so ancient coins are the currency, like the paid for currency, and you can earn those with the previous pass. But I don't know if you can pay for the new one with those or if it has to be real money. I'm not sure. but it just doesn't give you enough. You know, like most of these, it's like for every level, there's the thing you get for free, and then there's, you know, the second row, which is if you've paid up, here's the other thing you would have unlocked. And like certainly with Destiny, and I'm pretty sure with Fortnite as well, for every level, there's something in both rows.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Whereas with Sea of Thieves, it's like every 10 levels, there'll be an extra thing if you pay up.
Oh, that's
and
rubbish.
It's just, it's a bit shite. It's like, just chuck me another 5,000 gold or something.
So on the free one, there's also nothing for 10 levels.
I know, so the free one, there's something for every level. But on the paid one, it's only like every 5 or 10 levels, there'll be something additional.
That would not incentivize me to do it. I mean, if I am playing a game, and I mean, like Destiny and Fortnite, when I was massively into that, it's like, I see the Battle Pass, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to buy it because I want that thing on the top row. So nothing's going to stop me. But if it was only one every 10, I'm like, well, that is not enough to say. I'm missing out on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things now. If I'm missing out on just one thing, that's not an incentive for me to pay up and get the proper Battle Pass. Yeah,
and especially when loads of the unlocks will be like a jacket from a full set that, normally costs, money to buy the full set. So it's like, you got a bit of it for sort of, well, not for free, but essentially heavily discounted. It's like, yeah, but now I feel like I should buy the rest of the set. So it's, so that's still a bit shite. But they've added these new, merchant things. I said with the previous season, they sort of, the Merchant Alliance is the least popular of the trading companies, and they're trying to sort of make it more interesting. And they've added this thing where now you can trade commodities. So at any outpost, you can speak to the Merchant Alliance person, and you can buy sugar or metal or whatever. There's all different resources you can trade now, and there'll be a ledger which just gives you a list of all the different islands and tells you who's got for every island they'll have a surplus of something, and they'll have and there'll be something that they need. So you're basically looking at right, so I'm on this island, we've got a surplus of sugar and they need sugar at Plunder Outpost, so let's buy a load of sugar and sail over there and sell it. And it's just been a really nice thing to do when we've had a session where we just don't really fancy doing anything too intense, and it's just sailing about and chatting, and it's been really good.
So do you make money from?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. You make that's the thing. It's actually really lucrative. So that's been really good fun.
So that kind of sounds like drug wars, like the ancient drug. Well, this is because the ancient game where you buy and sell different drugs to make money, and then that means you can buy different ones. And
pretty much. The element of risk is in order to do this, you have to flag yourself up as an emissary of the trading company, which basically means you have a flag on the back of your ship, and it means players who are part of the Reaper's Bones. Who basically their whole thing is hunting other players. They can see you on the map at all times. So, over the course of I think it's every week, all the sort of values of everything sort of reset. So over the course of a week, the Reapers are going to learn where the sort of main sort of trade routes are, and they're going to be able to see people who are doing the trading on the map and intercept them and kill them. But that hasn't happened yet.
So it sounds like you've got a massive target on your back by being
pretty
one
much
of these people anyway.
Yeah. So far it's just been quite a nice chilled thing to do. So that's been cool. I've been playing quite a lot more Outriders.
Okay, that's good. Is it more stable now?
It is. The servers actually work. It's still a bit so I've been playing quite a bit co-op. We've been getting some bugs. At one point my character just vanished. Just went completely invisible, and then the only things that appeared was if I changed my equipment in the menus. So I changed one of my guns, and then I was just a floating gun, just running around. That was weird.
Well, were you a floating gun, or were you a gun with a floating man?
And it was but aside from that stuff, made quite a bit of progress, and now I'm sort of at the point where I'm regularly getting rare, interesting stuff. And sort of really getting into the crafting and everything. And it's properly enjoyable. I was when I first talked about the demo, I was surprised by the story in it, and I actually got sort of quite invested in it. I was keen to see where it goes. I mean, so far it's not really gone anywhere. Like, there's still a lot of like really enjoyable, some of the writing's quite funny. There's some really good performances in it. But it's really like early on, it sort of tries to make the point that the baddies might not actually be the baddies. Like, they were just people who were kicked out and given no resources to live off, and that's why they've had a really shit time of it, and that's why we're at war. And but it's not done anything with that. Like, those characters have continued to be the baddies for the the next 20 hours so far. So that's a bit shit. But yeah, just really compelling. Like, they're constantly getting new loot, and sort of every time we like we'll do a mission, we'll get some new rewards, and then we'll spend a good sort of 5 or 10 minutes being like, right, so hang on, so I've got this, and it's got this ability, and or it enhances this class ability that I've already got, and sort of just figuring out little constantly sort of changing your build as you go. And yeah, it's been really good.
Do you think it's gonna stay? Like, is this like a new Destiny, or do you think
I mean, they've said that it's not. But it does sort of feel like one.
I keep forgetting this isn't a games as a service game, is it?
Well, that's what they've said.
But it looks like it.
Yeah. And I was saying the other week, there was, it's cool because when you're messing with the crafting, you're like, oh my god, like, I'm putting together like builds that seem really overpowered, and it's really good fun, and like, and that's the bonus of it not being a service game, because it doesn't really matter if someone breaks the meta, right? It's not something like Destiny where it's like, well, hang on, it's got to be like a fairly level playing field, and we don't want people to rush through the content too quickly or whatever. However, they have started like nerfing stuff and changing things. Supposedly, it was because they were like, I think it's like for 3 of the classes, there was basically like one build that everyone was ending up with because it was clearly way better than everything else. So I sort of get that they're trying to balance it just in terms of making sure there are interesting decisions for you to make sort of towards the end of the game, whereas if it's just everyone settling on the same build, that's just quite boring. But yeah, so they changed a bunch of stuff, and they nerfed a load of things, and a lot of players didn't like it. But they've been really open about, like, so this is the first of a series of changes. The dialogue is ongoing. Like, we're listening to feedback, etc., etc. So, yeah.
So, in what way is it not a live service game?
Well, this is the thing. Like, so I think the idea is, like, the reason it's not a service game is that there's a campaign, and then you reach the end, and you can repeat old stuff, but that's it, right? There's no sort of, like with Destiny, you'd finish the campaign and it's like, aha, that's basically only the start of it. Now there's all these, constantly sort of rotating events and new things to unlock and blah, blah, blah. Whereas I think this is, you finish it and it's done. However, again, they've said like, oh, we're adding like high-end raid content pretty much. I think they haven't called it a raid, but it's, yeah. So
they're adding an end game of sorts, which is again
it sort of feels like
a live service game.
Yeah, it feels like they've sort of hedged their bets by sort of saying it's not a service game, but if it does well enough, they'll continue to support it, and that's going to look a lot like a service game. So, I mean, fine. I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, if they want to keep adding stuff, and obviously it was on Game Pass, so not even cost me anything.
Yeah, I would love to know what the numbers of people playing on Game Pass are.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're pretty high. I mean,
there must be. Yeah, you would think.
Well, this was I think I mentioned this. Like, when the servers were bad early on, like, all the PlayStation owners were like, to fucking get rid of the Game Pass players. It's not fair. But yeah, I mean, I can't believe neither of you've tried this. I'm pretty sure you'd both really enjoy it.
I mean, I was interested until I saw it was 3-player only, and then that was like,
oh, that's right. Yeah, that's a deal breaker for you, isn't it? Too many friends, too popular.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It's just, as I said, I know it's ridiculous, but it's just because I play with 3 other people, so it's like...
Yeah, no, totally, it makes sense. Same thing with Destiny, wasn't it? So yeah, Outriders still really good. The other thing I've been playing, or just kind of generally tooling around with, is EmuVR. As in EMU, as in emulators. So this is just a free sort of, I think it's still in beta. This is, people sort of working on it in their spare time, I think, project where, so obviously it's, emulators for old consoles in VR, but it's the way it's all presented. Like, so you load it, like, there's quite a bit of faff setting it up, as you can probably imagine. Like, it doesn't come with, obviously it doesn't come with any games. So you have to source those yourself, legitimate backups, of course. But once it's all done and you've got your library set up and everything, you load it up and you're in like a sort of late 80s / early 90s bedroom. And there's all just shelves with tellies and consoles on them.
What's weird about this, Sean, sorry, is this sounds a lot like the Mega Drive collection on the Switch, because that's exactly what happens with that.
Oh, really?
Like,
is that what it does?
And it's like a 90s bedroom, and then it's like you can then go to the shelves to, like, you know, thumb through your Mega Drive games that you own and stuff. It sounds very similar to that.
That sounds cool. Okay, maybe that's where they got the idea then. I don't know. Yeah, it's you sort of, you know, so you're looking around. So like I say, there's all shelves with different tellies on and stuff, and they're all like there's like massive CRTs. It only goes as far as like Trinitron style telly. So there's no like, you know, sort of like TFTs or anything. It's all like big boxy tellies. And like most consoles, there's like a model for them, but then for any that there isn't a model for, there's like a sort of generic sort of console box it uses. But I set it all up, and I turned it on, and I was like, I'm in this bedroom. There's a massive telly with an N64, and I just put Diddy Kong Racing in it and turned it on, and it came on the telly. And for about 3 seconds, I was like, "Oh fuck! I am at my friend's house when we were 12, and he got an N64, and this is fucking surreal." Like, it's just so like accurately done that it's just really, you know what it's like with VR. You generally, it's not like, you know, time you spend in VR. It's not like you're constantly going like, oh, this is like, I know this is just a game. I'm too clever for this. Like, you're basically quite immersed most of the time. But there are moments where you're like, this is fucking real, and it was just that. It was just absolutely bizarre. And I like sat on the floor in my living room and in this sort of virtual bedroom in the game and played a bit of Diddy Kong Racing on this massive telly. And it was incredible. You can customize the room quite a bit. I think like the furniture's sort of set in place, but you can mess around with like the wallpaper and you can put posters up. Like you can sort of position the consoles and TVs like wherever you want. You can spawn more of them if you need to. I haven't done this yet, but you can set it up so like all your games have like the artwork attached, so that as you sort of looking at the cartridges in the game, it's like got the actual artwork on it and stuff. It's proper good, and like I say, it's only in beta or alpha or whatever, so they're still like doing tons of stuff to it.
Sean, what do they support? Like, how many machines do they support at this stage?
So it uses RetroArch, which I've never dabbled with before, but it's like a sort of all-encompassing, like it sort of contains sort of loads of emulators. It goes up to the Dreamcast, as far as I'm aware. I don't know how many arcade cabinets it does. Not delved into that stuff yet. But yeah, you can load up Power Stone on it, and it's got online multiplayer. Wow. Somehow.
What?
Yeah, you can just like share your session with someone else and they can join, and that, I mean, I haven't tried it yet. But apparently that works. Yeah, it's fucking nuts.
So this
really good.
Is this is only for Oculus, isn't it? It's for nothing else.
So I think basically it's PC VR headsets only at the moment. So yeah, so I'm using the Quest, but linked to the PC. So I think there's like a Steam version and an Oculus version or something. But yeah, really good. Like, and it's just so surreal, like being able to like in like one room, like, so I've got an N64 on and a PlayStation on another telly. And I can just sort of move right, play a bit on the PlayStation while I can still hear Conker's Bad Fur Day in the corner, and it supports light gun games as well.
Wow. I was going to ask about that. I saw a video of Andy playing like Duck Hunt or whatever it was. What's the latency like and that kind of stuff?
I don't know. I've not tried any of this yet, but I'm definitely going to get House of the Dead on the go. Really impressed. Like, if you've got a PC VR headset, definitely check it out. It is ludicrous. And that's about it from me. So I guess we'll do questions.
Let's go.
if you want to send us a question, go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS. Sarah Plug says, evening, folks. I don't know if that's a joke name or if that's a real one. Plug's not really a kitchen appliance, is it? It's just an everywhere appliance. My question for you tonight is a two-parter. Question number one, are there any standout marketing gimmicks that have stuck with you for whatever reason? And if so, what are they and why? I mean, it's mostly the bad ones for me.
Gimmicks?
The ones that were controversial at the time, which is obviously why they do it. I remember the whole acclaim. How much did they pay someone to name their child Turok? It was a lot of money.
I mean, not enough.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of others. There was the awful. Was it Dead Island had the special edition with
for two reasons. One, the one you're about to mention, no doubt.
Yeah, the mutilated torso.
The woman's torso.
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty weird.
But
and
also,
then the trailer.
I mean, it's not a marketing gimmick, but then you can't think of Dead Island and not think of that amazing first trailer.
Yeah, which was nothing like the game, but
but amazing trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the Juiced trailer, obviously. I mean, that was
classic.
Certainly up there.
Yeah.
That's stuck out.
Yeah.
Gimmicks. I can't really think.
There was was it a Nintendo magazine or was it a Mega Drive one where they gave away a lollipop with a worm in it, and it was sort of an Earthworm Jim promotion, but not really.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember on the cover, it's like an arrow pointing at it and said, "Don't eat Jim, eat him." And pointing at this little lolly with the worm in it.
Wasn't there that weird thing with Edge magazine as well, with feathers or something? Feathers? Where it was like there was one issue where it's like you opened it and all these feathers came out, but I can't remember what it was for.
Wow, that sounds great. I don't remember that at all.
No.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens, but I can't remember the details, though.
That sounds like when you get an invitation to someone's wedding or something.
It's possible,
like a butterfly flies out when you open it or something. I can't think of any others.
What's this promoting? A butterfly? No, that's just something that got stuck in there when it was being pressed.
It's
in
dead.
The factory.
It's dead. Right, part two. You have all individually been hired to create a gaming-related mascot for the TCGS Co. family-friendly corporate rebrand. Current suggestions include the likes of Terry Trackpad, Cartridge Carl, Grumpy Gus, and Sophie Six-Axis. What do you come up with to make sure your character is selected, and why would they win in a fight?
I'm going to go with DualSense Derek.
That's very good.
Voiced by David. I think it'd be great.
I mean, but alliteration, it could be DualSense Dave. Surely
that's true.
Better.
That's
I
true.
prefer Derek, though. I think it sounds better.
Yeah, good point, yeah. It's
hard,
isn't it?
I'm trying to think. Oh, fuck. What's a good name that begins with O?
Orange?
I can't think of any. I just want to do something to do with the Octolock on the GameCube controller. Octolock Ollie?
Yeah, Oliver Octolock.
Oliver. For those who don't know, the Octolock is just the gate on the GameCube pad sticks. So named because it has 8 points. So there you go. Yeah, Octolock Ollie. He's just he's not even anything, is he? He's just like a frame for a stick to go through. So I don't really know why he'd win in a fight. I just like the word Octolock and I like saying it out loud.
Octolock Ollie. Yeah. Lovely stuff. Yeah. I mean, I was going to go with something very boring like Rodney Ram.
That's good. I mean, it sounds a bit.
Well,
I don't know.
That was the implication. There's like,
okay,
that's right. One for the adults out there as well. It's one is clever. It's like Toy Story, you know.
But one for the dads.
Yeah.
Tell him later when he grows up a bit. It's fine.
Yeah, explain it to him later. Right. They'll be cracking up. I mean, so Octolock Ollie. Yep. We've got Rodney Ram. What was your one, James?
DualSense Derek.
Derek, sorry.
DualSense Derek's probably going to win the fight, isn't he?
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with DualSense Derek.
Two
senses.
Yes, at the end, I think Octolock is not going to fight. It's not going to do well, is it?
No. Ricky Rice Cooker Says, Dear TCGS Co, I got lucky and randomly picked to take part in some national COVID study last year, and for my monthly participation I get gifted Amazon vouchers in exchange for some questions, a COVID test, and my literal blood.
That sounds amazing. I want to get in on this.
Yeah. The upshot of this is that by April 2022, when the study ends, I should have enough Amazon vouchers to get a PS5 basically for free. The question is, will I actually be able to buy one by then?
No. Probably not, no.
Probably not.
Next question.
Yeah.
Now that Dave's got his, I just don't hear weekly updates on the state of PlayStation 5 stock.
That was a lot, wasn't it?
I'm going to assume it's the same as it was.
I mean, I'd say that I miss those conversations, but I don't particularly. I'm quite glad that's over now. It's
reading this has reminded me. Like, I've ever told you I did a clinical trial once.
Oh, did you?
It was great. I made like £700 for fuck all.
Did you do it at university? It feels like
no. This was it was when I was like back home for a couple of months, like over summer or whatever, and it's just like, yeah, why not? And it was in Manchester, and I knew so it was like 2 overnight stays and then a bunch of like morning visits, and I had a friend who lived nearby, so I just stayed at his and played a load of games on my laptop and watched Time Trumpet. It was great.
What were the side effects though of whatever you'd having to get injected into your bum?
No, it was really boring. It was just it was a painkiller, but they developed like a nasal spray version of it. So they were just so they knew the painkiller worked. It was just seeing if spraying it up your nose meant that it still ended up in your bloodstream, basically.
Did it only go up your nose, or did they check every orifice?
No, just up the nose.
Just up the nose.
Just up the nose.
Would you have done the bum thing for a bit more money? Or?
I mean, how much are we talking?
$5?
So it was $700 for the nose, $5 for the bum.
$5 on top.
$5 on top. $705. That is more.
I mean, that's.
I mean,
a little spray
to give you some. Actually, I suppose it's because it's not like they're inserting anything. It's just a little.
Oh no, it would have to go in as well.
Oh, would it?
Yeah, they'd have to put a whole spray thing up there as well.
The whole
just to
apparatus. I don't know.
Just to make sure.
And then shake you about, to say, is it?
Give you a rattle like a bottle of fizzy
pop. Is your headache gone? I'm not even noticing the headache because you have put that thing up the bum.
Too much other stuff going on. There was the ward next to ours were testing anti-anxiety medication, and it was always really obvious when they just had another dose because they were like running around the corridors laughing and shouting and stuff.
Oh God, maybe.
But they were getting like $2.5 each.
That dose.
Yeah,
I always wanted to do it because I'm like, wow, you can get like £1,200 or whatever it was for just sticking all sorts of stuff in. Yeah, and I'll do it now, But Jill and I watched that documentary about all the, it's like the guys did it, and it's like they got elephantitis or something. It's obviously really incredibly bad.
Yeah, a
few years ago. Jill was like, no. I'm like, come on, get £1,500 if I lose an arm, whatever,
Swings around.
Think about the cash.
Best part of that is that the doctor that was running the experiment was called Dr. Jolly Joy John.
So what? Dr. Jolly Joy John?
Jolly Joy John.
Are you sure this was real?
I mean, when I reached that bit of the story, I'm like, guys, this does all sound made up.
I'm starting to believe that you were on some crazy drugs and you thought, no,
it wasn't. I didn't get paid.
It's just a spray on my nose, everyone. Sean, you don't even have a friend that lives nearby, do you?
Yeah, I've just spraying stuff in my nose and going, look, take blood samples, take my blood samples, see if
I'll be around my friend Chris's house. No, there is no friend, you don't have a friend called Chris who lives there. Oh, where have I been? I don't know, but here's £1,200.
Yeah, easy.
James, would you do some sort of crazy medical study?
Would you spray anything up your bum for a £5?
No, I'm fine, I'm alright.
What, for $2,000?
Maybe for $2,000.
Oh, okay. Didn't take a lot.
Patreon.com/TCGS.
Yeah. If you're a medical professional who needs some studies.
There was one guy on the thing on my ward who basically, I was there and the guy next to me was a DJ, and I mentioned this is when I was studying Sonic Art at university, so we were talking about
was Judge Jules.
We were talking about music and stuff, and this guy that was opposite us, who was about 50 on, he's like, I used to do music, I used to do all that, and it was quite embarrassing. And then when we did the second overnight stay, he had this this huge thing under his arm that was wrapped in bin bags.
Oh God!
And we were like, what have you got there, mate? He's like, I've got my keyboard out of storage. I thought I'd bring my key. Yeah, I thought I'd do some music. Well, I was like, oh, Christ. Yeah, he was pretty bad.
Oh,
he was
no.
pretty irritating.
I want more money for this test now because I'm having to deal with this.
They actually had to, when we did the final visit, they were like giving me a full, like once over and like taking my blood pressure, and they had to wait until he left because he was annoying me so much that he was fucking up my blood pressure results. But
these numbers are off the charts.
Yeah. Because technically you should be dead. Right, Maria Mendieta, dear TCGS cord cutters. So you might recall that Simon Smeg asked Maria a question last week, asking if she stockpiled all her questions and then just sort of fired one out once a week. Says, thank you, Simon Smeg, for your question. I now wish I would have thought of amassing the questions, but the truth is that I write the questions every week after listening to the pod. I download the episode one day, and inspired by the non-stop bants and James' disdain for questions and answers, I go back the next day to write on the beloved TCGS feedback page. For a while, I lived in a remote part of the planet, so I did this at a nearby internet cafe. That's dedication.
I mean, I've got a lot. I mean, alarm bells here. So I'm glad she responded to this, because I was thinking every week these questions are formulated in a certain way. You know, is it just AI? Is this an algorithm? But Simon Smeggs did the hard work. He's asked a question and we've got a response now. But still not 100% sure. It says like I lived in a remote part of the planet. Doesn't specify which planet.
Yeah, just the planet. I mean? A planet.
Doesn't say, UK, US, Earth, just as the planet. I'm like, okay.
So we've gone from Maria Mendieta, maybe an artificial intelligence construct, to an alien, a literal space alien.
Well, I wouldn't want to cast aspersions. What I'm saying is there's,
lack of specificity on the planet.
There's nothing wrong with aliens. They're fine.
No,
we don't know. We've never met any.
They look fine to me, actually. But what I'm saying is the planet, well, why didn't they mention Earth?
It's not specific, is it? Anyway, my question this week is about video game music you can move to.
Oh,
did I say music? Music you can move to. Which theme tune would best fit into the background as you go through your morning routine? Alternatively, which game composer would you pick to write the score for your mornings? I imagine the whistling tune from Deadly Premonition would be used to drown out the chaos at the Farley Manor. Keep up the great
I'll tell you what, I've got a song that I do put on often, which is actually from Persona 5, which is it's Beneath the Mask. I often put that on because it's relaxing when there's all the chaos going on around you. It's a good track.
Cool. Yeah. I often put the soundtrack to Jet Lancer on when I'm trying to get stuff done. Don't know why. It's very good, very upbeat, and stops me getting distracted. It's really useful.
I don't listen to game soundtracks.
Do you know?
But I do listen to a lot of movie soundtracks.
But you whenever you like a game, you always mention how good the soundtrack is.
I know, but I've never thought, I'm going to go on Spotify and listen to that. I just don't.
He's too busy listening to Taylor Swift. It's
It's true.
Yeah, Taylor's version is a great version of the album. So nothing wrong with that, James. But I listen to loads of. I have listened to in the past loads of movie soundtracks. Loads of Hans Zimmer stuff. I'm a big fan of his work. And yeah, anything from even like the shit films like Man of Steel still got a great soundtrack. But Interstellar soundtrack for me. If I need to get shit done, then bang it on, and I'm definitely transported to a wormhole.
There's definitely an argument that, like, obviously soundtracks are made to, coincide with another thing. So I do, people say, like, any good soundtrack should really be sort of quite diminished by being separated from the thing that it was written to, a company.
I don't agree with that at all.
I go back and forth on it. There are definitely examples where that is the case, but also there's loads of soundtracks that are just brilliant pieces of music in their own right.
No, but they also elicit sort of the feelings of the atmosphere that you got from when you were playing the game as well. Like you get that from it, which is brilliant.
Yeah, totally. No, I've forgotten what I was going to say.
If I could actually combine those kind of two answers, actually one of my favourite film soundtracks is from a film called Oblivion.
Do you know I've still not seen that? I've got it. It's on my watch list on Amazon, and I'm just like, it appears to have Tom Cruise and spaceships. So I don't really know why
I really liked it. It's not like a blockbuster film, but it was different and weird, and the soundtrack was absolutely fantastic. It's actually done by M83.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mate 3, yeah.
Cool.
They did a random soundtrack, and it's stunning. But yeah,
nice. I don't know if we really answered the question.
No, we haven't. But
doesn't matter. Sorry, Maria. Cammy T, Scotland's greatest speedrunner, says despite the protests of the fans, the ESA and is it UEFA? They say it.
UEFA,
don't
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, just.
What were you about to say?
The UEFA.
There you go. I wish you had.
UEFA. I was going to say UEFA.
The FIFA and the UEFA.
The UEFA and the ESA and the FIFA. So several game series are leaving their former exclusive home to make a super console, which famously exclusive franchises would be moving to the super console, and whose fans would be the most irate about it.
Well, I mean, any of the sort of any of those like console exclusives, people are going to kick off about, aren't they? I mean, imagine if you get like Halo, going off onto that, and I don't know, whatever, Mario.
Yeah, but
I mean, surely the big one would be like
what fans would kick off the most? I don't know if Halo fans would kick off as much as like a Sony exclusive, because Halo hasn't exactly been top dog for a while, whereas you take like I don't know, Uncharted or God of War.
This doesn't work though, because if there was just a super console that played all these games, this is the one console future that everyone wants, like where you don't have to buy like loads of different machines, and it's just everything's on that machine.
Well,
it's got Halo and Mario.
It just says several.
So you're saying that some games are not going to be relegated from this console?
Some will just stay on the console and not have to remain competitive to stay on the console. And
that's
on the console.
Yeah, that's the argument, isn't it? Is that the two problems with it should be that it could be so say Mario went to the new console, and now that doesn't have to compete anymore. Because it's there by default on the new console, and it doesn't matter if it's good or not. Equally, if this new console like consumes all the biggest franchises, does that kill off some of the others? And does that make them not financially viable anymore?
Who knows? What
Big
I guess
questions.
I'm saying is, I think Sony fans will kick off the most about an exclusive moving, whereas Xbox, I think, they've seen Cuphead go over other platforms and Ori, and that's like a cool thing. And
no, I think Nintendo fans would absolutely lose it.
I think Mario's the one.
Definitely.
Like, I think, like, if you put, like, if they announce tomorrow, like, oh, there's the Switch is getting a version of God of War, I'd be like, oh, that's weird, but cool. Whereas, like, the idea of like turning on my Xbox and seeing a Mario icon on there, I don't think I could make sense of it. I don't think I'd be able to comprehend it. I need to lie down every time I turn it on.
But if I'm thinking, and this wasn't even really the question, but if I'm thinking like fanboys proper kicking off, it's always a PlayStation.
You're mad. You're mad, Matt. No, because Sony fan, what's called Nintendo fans are nuts. And I say that as a Nintendo fan. Like, I like their output, but yeah, there's.
I think like PS3 era Sony fans would give Nintendo fans a run for their money. Like, they were weird.
I mean, any hardened, anti other console, but I love this one is they're always insane. But no, I mean, Nintendo fans, they were like, well, hang on, I can play Mario, but on a 4K, or I can play it on a console that's getting updated, or
yeah. But as I said, this is the same for all of those, though, isn't it? It's the one console future. It's great.
It's a super console future.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So it's a good idea. Let's just do it.
So
everyone agrees.
Okay, so Mario, is that it? We're going with Mario.
I mean, it will make games better, if anything. In fact, it will save games if they do this.
Yeah, it will definitely save games. Yeah. It'll save game saves as well. That's it.
That is it for the questions. Matt, do you want to do socials?
Now, right now, this is a relatively short show compared to many others. Obviously, there's only 3 of us on this show. So what I'm saying now is there is now what's about to happen is like a 25-minute social part of the show. just to bring us a bit more in line with the usual. Yeah, because some people think, oh, fucking hell, what's this, 2 hours and 18 minutes? Well, what kind of show is this? Just because Dave's not here. So, just to appease the fans, I think I've got a couple of books here I can read out, and we can have a bit.
I was going to say, dramatic reading,
social media. Yeah. Streaming. It's just James and I doing the regular streams at the moment, but we are streaming, or James is streaming, and I'm joining him. Friday nights at 9. We're streaming It Takes Two. I don't know how far we are through the game, James. Do you? We've done.
I have no idea.
Two or three. We've done 3 streams so far. I don't know, maybe halfway, who knows, but we're loving it. And but James does need to be better at mini games because it's becoming an embarrassment. But that is Friday night at 9 p.m. on twitch.tv/TCGSco. If you miss it live, you can watch it on YouTube. Just search for TCGS on YouTube and you can watch your wild streams after that. But back to Twitch. If you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime Gaming, and you get 1 free sub every single month. And Jeff Bezos would hate it if you gave it to us. He would absolutely hate it. So please go over to our channel and give us your free sub. We really appreciate that. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/TCGS. And very soon, in the next week probably, there will be our monthly podcast and talk server. We just need to work out a date. So apologies, it being a little bit later in the month than we would have liked. But
yeah, we try and avoid
that. We do apologise.
But yeah.
And TCGS.co is a website where you can go to the store, you can buy TCGS merch, you're ready for that gorgeous summer we're about to have.
Any day now, it's going to the weather's going to be nice.
It's lovely. It's been lovely and warm today. I went out in
to be fair,
t-shirts
sort of finally picked up.
Lovely old job. Yeah, t-shirts and all the usual stuff on that merch store. That's at the website, and that is it. There's a link to our Discord as well on the website. It's worth popping in there. There's loads of people on there chatting all sorts of stuff all day long. So get involved if you want a Discord to join.
Do you think that's the thing? People just sitting around like, I really want to join a Discord today.
I really want a vibrant,
really
interesting, funny, loving Discord. Yeah. And then we've got one, baby.
Well, there you go. Yeah, sorted.
Respect you.
That's us. We're done. Probably see you all on, well, hopefully at some point over the weekend if you're a patron. But if not, see you next week. Dave will probably be back. I hope Charlie's all right by then. But yeah, I need to say the thing, don't I?
You do.
Get to say the thing. Thank you so much for letting us be natural. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Or goodbye.
Yeah,
good morning. If
what matters?
Maybe you're having this with your listening to this with your breakfast. I don't know.
Works. It works.
Yeah, just say goodbye. Yes, don't specify.
Okay, bye.
Time of day. Bye.
Yeah, bye.